Yes.
What did you miss? I'm not gonna lie. I was up at the main desk, just getting that PC, was freezing all that stuff, and I'm like, and all of a sudden I just hear pandemonium from over here.
Yes.
I come back to my desk, and stuff that shouldn't move was doing some stupidity. Like I'm talking, like obviously like Nvidia's up 15%, Apple's up 12%. Bitcoin percentages don't matter on Bitcoin, but it's up 7 from the previous close. The Nasdaq is now double digits to the upside.
Nasdaq, eh?
Double digits on the Nasdaq.
Wow.
Like to say this is insane. It's completely unprecedented. So you know what? I mean, next time the President of the United States just tells you to buy, maybe just buy. Out here listening to.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that simple. Next time dude says buy a stock, just buy the stock. Yeah, go for it,
Just the amount of super chats. I didn't want to leave it off on that note, but yeah, speechless. The love is more than words that I can comprehend or fathom. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Love you all, and much respect for every single individual in that chat
I have to re-listen to what you said because you definitely touched some people there. So thank you, Joe, for all of that. Oh, well, I lost a lot of money too. But no, just that's amazing, Joe. Congratulations, for just being, that's what we try to be here, honest with our trades, honest with everything.
Look,
so
there were some fills.
Joe was fighting back some emotions, and that's great.
There were some fills that were going on. And
I lost $2 on the Qs on a slip too.
There was some crazy stuff.
It's nuts.
No, I had my finger, look, man, I'm not going to, look, I'm market making on this stock. Like if you can watch, this is a Toronto stock that has zero to do. The tariffs don't matter. It doesn't move. It's literally a fixed price in 1 week, and there's just no reason why it should move. And I was close to headshotted on this thing. I was basically sitting there like, well, if they break this dude, forget about it. So it's like blind, and sometimes you get really lucky. But some stuff that I don't expect to move, like just did crazy action. Like nothing bigger than your obvious Mag 7 names. Like you're gonna see Nvidia up that 15 points. You're gonna see, like I looked over at ARM. Well, I got lucky with the ARM buy recently. I didn't know jack. I just wanted to buy this thing if it broke underneath $90. And like 106. Like, it's complete insanity. Now, my biggest fear here, at least for the afternoon, is it's a bit unprecedented. Like, I've never stared down, do you want to buy the high of a move like this?
I'm already doing that, but...
The place I was actually looking at is Bitcoin. Because I don't know, I always go back to, is something at a level that makes sense? And I'm looking at Bitcoin, and there is that 81,000 level from before, that if we can hold the 81,000, I'd go back into. On I bet that's about 46 and a quarter. So if it can hold the 46.25, that's something at least I could work off of, because right now it's complete insanity. Shout out to you, Luis Pina, in the chat there. You just had the biggest win in your trading experience. Shout out to you for sure. Kelly as well. We got another super chat. Congratulations to all. Whoops, that just went away. Love you guys live. That's what we're here for. You don't know. Look, man, nobody knows what's going to happen on a daily basis, unless you got some kind of.
Unless you're Trump.
Well, if he knew. He said bye this morning. He knew.
Of course he knew. When you're in control.
No, I know.
I think he's going to get. I think this is a problem for Trump, to be honest with you. But it's great for the market.
I've never seen anything like this.
It is basically market manipulation. it is what it is, but...
Oh, by definition.
By definition is exactly what it is. And so the SEC, I'm sure, will be looking into this. But great. It's absolutely... We don't thank everybody, man. Trump does what Trump does. He says what he says.
I don't know if a law was broken. That's what I don't... I don't know. I do not know America.
Securities fraud.
I don't know all of these rules enough to understand
I don't know either.
Whether you can do exactly what he just said. Literally told everyone to buy and then made the one decision that would ramp the market maximum same afternoon. Either way, a lot of people are happier when they look at their personal accounts today.
Great, it's great.
I'm gonna message my wife like, okay, look now and stop complaining to me. Let's go to, no, my wife is like, she's like, look at all these stocks that are so bad. I'm like, you never look at it when they're going up, and then the second they're going down, it's like.
That's what happens.
No, I know.
That's why my wife doesn't touch our finances.
I love you, Rebecca.
Well, the more you know.
No, I kept harping on to make sure you get a TFSA and all that stuff. Tax-free savings account here in Canada.
Yes.
And then so over the last couple of years, it's been like, what are you buying it? And you didn't give me any credit for saying these things on the way upside. No, I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah,
Everyone
of
should be happy when the market goes up.
I'm trying to buy
I'll
this
tell you
dip
right
still.
now, we have fun when you're trading and the market's moving, but nobody's super happy with a big smile on their face. Like, I'm not even in a position, and I have this buyout, which I don't know why I'm showing it. Yeah, I have a short on a buyout. But anyways, I'm in Mullen because Mullen's Mullen. But I want to finish my thought. But when you're trading and the market's going down and you're shorting it, yeah, you can be happy that you made money, but you don't go home at the dinner table and I'm never super excited about it. But when it's going up, it's a different story. Let's see what you guys want to talk about here. Unbelievable, 9% up.
I mean, what Brendan just turned over and said Tesla was up 18% or something. I mean, what a great move. We knew that there was some
18%.
pent-up demand, needless to say, pent-up demand in the market. And then when we got that note, I mean, you had seen this happen on Monday, right, where the market just went absolutely haywire back up to the upside on that news. So again, we just want to thank everybody for all those super chats. That means a lot to all of us, man. And we know we have the best community, and we want to thank all of you for that, man. So that was fantastic. What a run. What a day. This is why we trade, man. These are the markets. This is why we do what we do. On a daily basis, so you can get opportunities like this. And great to hear that people in the chat there having their best days ever. We were able to do that on Monday or Tuesday, and glad that other people are also experiencing that. And you know, those of us that I'm going to be down right now today because we got very similar slippages. Like I was saying, we were short there at 46. There's our stop at 49.50. So like we normally take 50-cent hits, things like that, and it was an absolute disaster to the upside there for the shorts. But congratulations. We're now long, of course, and it's all good. But at the end of the day, what a wild market. So, all right, thanks everybody. Thanks to Sharif, everybody, for such a great midday show. And we got Sharif right now. We're going to go over the rundown.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys locked and loaded, ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get your tickers up there is to join us during the midday, Joseph and I, and get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers every day. But you got to be a subscriber in order to engage with us in the chat. So make sure you're liking, subscribing, and sharing. That's a look at the triple Qs, and that is no mistake, baby. That is up and to the dang right. We're up 9.46% on the NASDAQ. We were up higher. We broke that 10% momentarily, so we'll see where we end up on the day. But a huge move, over 2,000 points from the low into the high today. Keep your eye out on the Mag 7 and the futures. The first one, though, not surprised here, Tesla up 17.33%, guys. What a move up here. Benchmark maintaining their buy on Tesla, lowering their price target to 350. I don't think we really care about any upgrades and downgrades right now, guys. It's a market story.
Well,
Let's talk about Levi. I mean, Levi had good earnings a couple of days.
Oh, yeah. Quality jeans.
Newsmax. Anything else moving today?
Fat Pipe.
Fat Pipe.
Core Weave.
We're in a really nice position here on the futures, but let's go over Tesla.
No, look, I didn't trade Tesla today, but like, forget about upgrades and downgrades when you just got the biggest upgrade the market could have gotten with the pause, right? So that's what analysts can move markets, but sometimes like there's fundamentals that just stand out more than others. All I can do, I'm not putting any cold water on this, but I would tend to think that if we extend this, like especially just Tesla, that there's still the sentiment thing. It is a pause. We don't necessarily know what the next step is going to be. A lot of times, I like to think let the market breathe. Anybody that's been buying off the 220, like that's been pretty gold to take your 25, 30% when you've been able to get it up here at that 280. I do think there's a decent chance that's where we should be headed, at least here on Tesla. So I'd love to give it a chance to get there. As far as chasing it, oh my goodness. All you can ever think about, like my first gut reaction was after this was like 250. Now I got to think 257. But it's IBIT that I like. So it's IBIT that I want to grab in here. We're not going to talk about crypto, but I'm on the bid in the 60s of IBIT. It's in the 70s right now. But Tesla, I'm not 17% up. It's difficult to chase up here because then where's the risk to reward? Like I don't see the trade. You can maybe look at if it holds trend and try to give yourself a tight stop on the dips. But this is not one of those moments where I feel like it's unprecedented and I don't want to chase these tops unless it's got an underlying level I can play off of. But I like the chance that you get to 280 in the next couple of days. I mean, barring any other headlines, obviously.
So I am doing the opposite on the TQs here. I'm long at the top. I mean, I'm long. It's $1 in the money, but we've been buying these tops. I never seen anything like this. So we'll wait to see what happens if we do get to the upside. That's 10% right there. Like wild stuff. We're getting lower. We're getting lower. We're getting lighter and lighter on all of these positions here on the TQs. So all right, I should probably, all right, let's just go over to the next. I can't, I have too much going on. All right, we'll go over and let's go find out the story with Apple.
Another upgrade today, Sean, or not really an upgrade, lowering the price target, that is. But again, one of those ones that's probably not having an effect right now. The story is Apple getting upgraded by Jefferies from an underperform to a hold and boosting that price target, lowering the price target actually from 202.33 down to 167.88. I think it was flirting around 167 this morning, guys.
It was at 160, 169 actually was that low that you're mentioning, but it doesn't really matter. At this point, it's at $190. So that's completely in the review. The only thing, all right, so it's kind of weird, but this happens every now and then. The upward trend that this was on when it broke for the short to VWAP is actually still, it's now holding in the other direction. So if you draw the trend line from the morning, this is now acting as support. But as the market tagged 19,000 and is at the high, and Nvidia's at the high, Apple is pulling back off 195 and threatening to break trend. So you're seeing some cracks in the armor here. And when you zoom it back out, lo and behold, where did Apple top out? The exact liquidity spot when we had that fake story, or whatever we're calling it. That fake story, or like the bad headline at that 195 top. So you've gone into the obvious resistance spot. I wish I had looked at Apple and I was focusing on IBIT and I was in Pfizer earlier and Intel was what I was trading, but that's kind of an obvious spot. But that's why when in doubt, zoom out, because that's a very, very clean and obvious level. And it's still too far away to fade off of this. I would look for a trend reversal. If this closes underneath and there's any reasonable chance to grab it underneath the 190, I think I'll take a shot here over on Apple, but I just got into IBIT.
Now we're dropping?
Yeah, well, Apple's losing support. It's almost like Apple's is leading the market lower at this point.
Yeah, I'm starting to get some more out, and I was just talking with our head of IT there, telling him that the quotes were actually great. I mean, he's telling me that we are getting messages that, you know, there is some quote issues, of course, across the board on different gateways like NASDAQ, or I'm not trying to throw anything under the bus, just letting you know that when you look at our quotes here, like the amount of volume that's running through these TQQs is insane, and our quotes are actually keeping up quite nicely. So I just wanted to, I went back there during the melee to go find them, and just came out. So I want to say shout out to Real Trading, because our system did not go down. It did not, it gave you every opportunity to trade every single name under the sun there today. So I just want to say thank you to Real Trading and everybody else there, because I've been sitting here for many, many years, 20 something, maybe I shouldn't say that. But no, and honestly, the quotes that we just experienced there were very nice.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, sometimes when we have liquidity events like that, you expect there to be such a flood of data that, oh, there's no way, execution might be, all that stuff would be slow. But I'll tell you, you know, I think I'll use some examples. We'll go to Nvidia in a quick little second. But I wasn't at my desk, and that is 1 cent slippage on my Pfizer stop at the high of the day.
Read what?
1 cent slippage.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's after it's gone 2% up. So you're already into the news story, and I got 1 cent slippage on my trailing stop order there at the high of the day. And I was sitting, I wasn't even at my desk. This is probably why people trade without stops all the time, but I'm just going to say it's not the best idea. And in this environment, I think it was obviously true here. We just went over Apple, showed you guys what's going on with that trend line for sure. It's trying to close underneath, but that's about it. I did get into IBIT, but I'm sure people want to hear about Nvidia for sure.
Great.
Are we?
Fabian, just Brendan, talk to Brendan. Yeah, we're going to push it. Okay, so just real quickly here. Someone want to talk about slippage. So, yeah, I think it was Casey. Basically, when you have a market order out, I mean, I'm assuming, like I said, I wasn't here when Joe was talking, but it's just basically that you have your stops set up. So, just for example, right here, I was stopping out on this short. right at 42.50, and we wind up getting punched out at like 45.25 or something there on this huge move to the upside. It was actually right there, 43.50, so that was $1. So what winds up happening is the quotes kind of levitate like this, and the next thing you know is just someone comes in and markets up like 100,000 shares, and there's only so many hundreds of shares on the level 2 here. So see, like just like what's happening right now, like we're not even getting news breaking, and the thing is just ripping like that. So if you have a stop at 50, what we're talking about with slippage is, and I'm assuming that's what happened to Joe, is he wants to punch out at 51, like right there. But the thing is, you have a market order, so the minute 51 hits, it's okay, Fabian. It's not that important about what we're talking about right now. But you know, once that market slips to 50, it just sends out a market order. Now you're part of what we call a vacuum, because as these orders are going out, it's just sucking up all. I'm doing stuff with my hands like Italian style now, Fabian. It's sucking up it's sucking up all the liquidity, you know? So at the end of the day, there's no shares left for you to punch out. Not only that, you also get offers lifted. So not only like if I hear that news and I have offers, I'm escaping those offers. I'm canceling those. So what happens is the liquidity that you think is there, poof.
And if you're at Real Trading, you can customize, anybody at Real Trading, you can customize your cancel keys. I have a cancel closest bid, cancel closest offer, cancel all orders, cancel only all offers, cancel all bids. Those are incredibly valuable keys to have around, because I can tell you right now, cancel all offers, even if you were long in the money, you don't want to be taking your take profit before the news hit. You want to let it ride a little bit there. That key can really save you. Let's go talk about, look, so many names I'm running. Coinbase is up 19%.
Yes, it is. Let's go.
Let's go to talk about
banana?
Nvidia. You didn't eat your banana?
Notice how I'm peeling it from this end for everybody, so we don't get in trouble from everybody out there.
Yeah, people really,
monkey style.
People really care
It's
about
called monkey style.
Just eat it how you want, Sean. All right, fantastic look here on Nvidia. Still holding out at the highs, not like Apple, giving back a little bit. It's at about $110.88, close to that 15% marker. Again, an upgrade today from TD Count, but not really the reason why we're moving. Maintaining the buy, not really an upgrade, maintaining that buy, lowering the price target down to 140 from 175. Matters very little, though, right now with the market moving up on the back of the tariff suspension.
So, you think after, I mean, a news like this, I'm always sort of torn, like what's the reaction going to be, and what would you expect out of something like an Nvidia, which has been under pressure here today? I can't, and sometimes it's not that easy to figure it out. Well, obviously it's a long, and it's going ham. And again, like the reason I picked IBIT has more to do with the 81,000 floor than anything else. Like when I was looking at Nvidia, by the time you're regrouping in here, it's like 106, looks pretty good. You come back to, well, look where we are. Like you're at the spot where Nvidia started dumping $30. Like right up here at that 112 level. Like that's where things started to accelerate. And it's a tricky one. Like I like things that are in front of support if you have to buy up at highs. Ideally, I don't think this is the kind of name most people are, terribly concerned with holding on for the long term. Like I know if I dip on it, it would be for the long haul. I did once while I was in Florida, but ARM's the thing that I got recently, and that's for the long haul. I'm probably not going to take profit on that. But if you're long and you haven't taken profit going into power hour, I would be a little bit remiss. Like 10% up for a record day for the NASDAQ and 15% up for Nvidia. It's very unprecedented. And it's you can sort of see it getting a little top heavy up here on almost every single stock, with Apple standing out a little bit more than others. So I think the same thing's happening with Nvidia. There's so many of these that are going to set up where you could just slap a trend line on it and say, well, take a shot if it breaks the trend line. But I'd probably I might look at AMD's up 20%, by the way.
That's it?
Yeah, 20. I think AMD's the biggest percentage that I'm not going to.
I'm looking at my sticky note short, everything. That was good.
Oh, I think AMD, of the names that we usually look at, I think this is the biggest percentage mover, AMD. And so if something's going to break trend, I could be wrong about that.
No. That's not about being right or wrong. Let's just have a quick look then at what's going on. Oh, the SOXL is just up 49%. So those hedge funds that got that note from Donald Trump probably absolutely destroying everything. You might be right, Neil. Why don't I even have AMD on
ARM
this
is
list?
23.
Oh, there's AMD. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not even...
Affirm is 22.
Yeah, I'm all over this. ARM 22, Affirm 22,
Maybe I should
Hood
take
22, AMD 20, Shopify 20, Coinbase 20, Mara 20, Tesla. I mean, stop saying 20. All right, SMR 16, Nvidia 16. What else is big enough here? Donkey Kong 13. Now what's really disappointing today? Okay, XOM only up 5%. Come on, XOM. Google, XOM, Netflix, I'm as if I'm in the money on my JP Morgan trade now. Like, this is absolutely insanity that runs wild. Like, I just want to say something when I was saying about how, like, it should be investigated. It's just I mean, we're long and getting out of this. So I'm loving life right now. I just think it's like, now are we going to take him for his word? Like,
you have to.
And to your point, maybe there was nothing broken. I just find, like, I always have that not tin cup hat, tinfoil hat.
That's my dude.
You put
right
a tin cup on your hat, maybe a little bit.
Tin Cup is the greatest golfer of all time.
Yeah, I like that's Kevin Costner, isn't it?
Yes.
That movie? Yeah, the guy took about 100 shots from the fairway there.
Greatest golfer.
At the end of the day, what I'm just saying is like, you know, he has these backroom discussions, and not just him. I'm sure this is true of every president of all time. I mean, this is literally what negotiations all about here, lobbyists and so on and so forth. But, like, you know, it's like, hey guys, like, I'm gonna say buy the market at some point here, and when I do, I mean it. And then all of a sudden, the tariff news comes out 3 or 4 hours later. So I just wonder about the timing of that, you know. But I might be wrong here. If he's been saying buy for the last couple of days and it hasn't worked out, then that's a completely different story. I just feel like
I'm no legal expert. I'm not going to pretend to be.
Well, yeah, you don't
but
even say that.
I can't imagine a single thing that you could pin that he did wrong. It would be if somebody that might have known he was going to say it acted on it, and then
right. It's all about the action.
Then I think that person could. I don't know. Anyways, the market's flying. We should all be happy.
This is great. I may actually log into the long-term account at some point.
That's what like I said. I'm going to tell everybody that was messaging me on Monday like what to do.
Here's
I'd be
the
like,
question.
go look at your account.
What to do? Do we take this opportunity now to get out?
I just bought ARM, and it's up 22% today, and it's up like 26-something% from when I bought it. But I'm gonna do to me the common rationale was I wasn't intending on buying it to trade it in the first place. I was buying it to hold it for the long term, not change my tune. Like the Tesla 220, that I was getting out at 280. And the first time I did it, I got some out at 280. Had I bought Tesla again at 220, I'd be taking some out on this rip because that was the intention of the plan. If you took a swing, take your profit.
Tesla's up $40.
No, but if you bought something because I'm buying this dip and I want to hold it and retire with that, you know, I mean, there's nothing wrong with.
Well, retirement's age has gotten a little younger today, that's for sure, because
we're
now we get a little bit of money back in the account.
Sweet Christmas.
Okay, I have no idea even what stock we're on, so let's just throw it back to the boss.
Probably Amazon.
Take it over, boss man.
We're out on Amazon, Sean. A couple of analysts chimes in today as well. Bank of America Securities maintaining the buy on Amazon, lowering the price target down to 225, I believe, from 257 previously. Mizuho also maintaining their outperform rating on Amazon and lowering the price target again to 225, down from 285. Separately, a non-analyst related headline: Amazon cancels some inventory orders from China after tariffs being placed by Donald Trump, but maybe that is in question now, seeing that the new headline came in.
Yeah, it's like all the news from the morning and all the plans from this morning.
MSTR up 25%.
You know, I'm surprised. The VIX is only at 36. That's it. Not lower, huh? I mean, it fell apart. It's just a little surprised. Thought maybe you get a little bit further to the downside than that. But we're talking Amazon. Does this look like anything familiar? Like every single chart, like all green on the 15-minute, but it's only up 10%, not 20. So figure it out, Amazon, 10%. What are we doing? You can't be up 10% today when everything else is up 15 to 20%. You've got to do better, Amazon. 186 looks pretty interesting here. You've got double tops in here. You've got prior support. Like I'm just looking for things like where it might settle down, and 186 makes sense. There's another one. Like buy it up here. 190 used to be that big support, which could turn into resistance. So I think if we dip, 186 is, yeah, they're actually, it just dipped in. Like when I was buying the dip in IBIT, that same dip gave you 186 on Amazon. So if you're playing the top end of the range, I think you maybe have 86 to 89, 90. Just be careful. If we lose this trend line, we can be, we're not, I mean, back at VWAP would be extreme, but you can pull back pretty precipitously when you're up 10%. So 86 looks like a good level to work off of. Like I said, I just prefer IBIT in here, although that just pulled back underneath. We made a run at 83,000 on Bitcoin.
I'm just getting out more here.
Yeah, and it just kind of curled up when it got that level. I'm now slapping this trend line on and saying if it closes underneath, I'm done. If it bounces and closes above, I'm going to reload. If it closes underneath, I'm out. Just try to keep it really simple. If I was in Amazon, I'd do the same thing.
Gulp. We're taking more out of the futures here as we continue to run higher. I mean, now I don't even know what to say, but the futures like up 11% in the NASDAQ right now. The S&P is up 8.4%. Like, Adair's going to have some infographic mania to go through with now today, like the top 5 days in NASDAQ history or something like that, let alone what's going on with, I mean, you know what? You've just been talking, there's not even, I'm not going to look at any levels here for anybody, honestly, because what's happened has happened. But like XLE, oil, we'll go through some sectors as we go, but oil now popping up 8% as well. Let's see what our friend gold is saying today. That is, okay, only up 3%, but that might be one. If you're looking to short something, maybe in the gold area, but I wouldn't short anything, man. I think this could be a multi-day move right now. Like, this has come out now, so now we have to wait to see what like the friends and foes are saying, right? Like, what is what's Vietnam going to come up with, and what are some of these other names, Bangladesh and all these countries, what are they going to come up with now that this is paused? Like, where do these negotiations come from? Many people going to be heading to the White House, I'm assuming. I talked about that joke earlier about his phone bill, going to be a little bit extended there. Well, guess what? I mean, right now, I expect a lot of great things coming from the White House over the next couple of days. So, I mean, I would still stay long. That's why I asked you, Neil, like what you were thinking. Well, and there it is right now.
Have to.
We are now 200 cents in the money on the TQs, and CompuCare said to me, like, was I caught short? Yeah, very much caught short right into here, including like getting crazy stops. And that's why I said to Joe, man, I feel your pain in many ways because we are getting stopped out here all day, and then with bad prints, but then we finally flipped over to the long, just thinking that, hey man, this may not stop. So I don't know. You guys let us know when the last time the NASDAQ was up 11%. I'm gonna venture never. All right.
Never.
Good. We'll talk about it after. Sharif.
I think never.
Yeah, interesting. Adara did this deep dive. It looked like it was right after the dot-com bubble. It moved about 14 and change on the back of the 50 basis point cut. And that was, I think, 14.33% today. I think we got as high as 10. I haven't checked lately, though, guys. Here was the last one, Palantir at the day high. Sean, you'll like this one. Over 20% to the green here on Palantir. No specific catalyst for it, but Joel Lonsdale taking a shot today at China, one of the co-founders of Palantir, saying that they were looking at playing chicken with the United States ahead of the auction today.
Yeah. So yeah, we are pretty happy with Palantir. I mean, we didn't do too much damage here on the dip buy side of things throughout this whole move, but we are pretty happy that the market's made this move back. And I just want to say, this is a 50-period moving average on a daily, so that just means we're just back to where we were over the last 50 days as an average, obviously, including these highs. So yeah, like if you go back, so we're at levels that we were at March 26th. So 2 weeks ago, we were here for Palantir. This is why I'm saying to many people, what are we, I'm not saying it to anybody, but to everybody watching, what are we doing now with these moves? You just got relief. I'm going to say that for JP Morgan, for example, the only trade that I really been in, I think I'll probably pair some out. I just, we're long at 230, 232, and we had to like suffer through even this morning was 210. And so you're getting these moves up. We're not quite even at the 50-period moving average yet for JP Morgan. We're actually at the 200 period. So this could still climb. I just think it's a little irresponsible not to take something off the table But again, everybody can do their own. So for me, for Palantir, we never thought, I don't think, that defense spending was ever going to get cut anyways, right? So yeah, for me, it's a no-brainer that this move is happening. But there's so many stocks, Neil, that are up 20%. We've already indicated it all. So it's very hard to sit here and talk about individual names. This is just market breadth. We know Palantir can go. It's why it's on my list here today for Palantir, saying it's a super aggressive name. So we already know that. I don't want to pretend like we're telling people things they don't know. So yeah, but anyways, great day to be long the market. That is for sure. And I think we all learned something, that this president ain't messing around.
No.
Anytime soon. So we'll wait to see about this. But yeah, congratulations all today, as it's been huge. So
There's something to be said about Frank talk. Not like Frank in general, but you know what I mean. And just calling it like it is. And obviously we should have listened. Everyone should have listened today. If you started out long, congratulations. I'm actually, look, I don't have too much. I can't really add anything to count. You guys can see it at the 50 period on the daily.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at, like, what are the things that I might consider actually selling? Some of, not all of. Yeah, like I think I would sell, if we extend a couple of days and I see SoFi get to the 50 period moving average, I've held this for a while. I've held it through good and bad at about $7, sometimes at about 8. I get an IBIT, which I'm trailing out of. But if we get to 13 up here and do this same kind of curl, I'll probably put a trailing stop and take some out. It's just something I hold in my my TFSA, which is kind of, it's like the tax-free savings account. But we just had a little bit of a curl in the market. Said if we broke trend, I would jump out of IBIT if we're getting into anything off the highs. So while it was holding the trend line, was buying off the highs, it tried to hold, make sure we get out before it gets to break even, and then regroup and look for the next thing. I'm not shorting it just because it's breaking the trend line. I don't want to play that game either. I'm very happy with how today is gone, and this is a very unprecedented move. I don't want to get caught in any traps. If anything, I would love it that a traditional short setup gets blown up and I could go back into the long. Like, imagine, like, I'm kind of in the back of my head, the most extreme moves, if those types of setups get blown away and you go the other direction, those can be explosive. So to me, I see, well, I trailed out of it, I'm gone, but that's a short entry for a lot of people. And usually it would be a short entry for myself. So if it starts taking out those highs, I think I take a shot just to go back on the trend line here for IBIT, which is kind of my focus at the current moment. So just going to back off a little bit. I'm going to guess if you're trading any small cappers right now, you were laughing, because anything that has squeeze potential, I'm sure just ran some shorts out of there. Made me think about that GameStop 25, which, oh no, it didn't really. It went to 25, I guess. GameStop just ran to the resistance and didn't break through. Now, anything that's squeeze potential, I'm kind of thinking about. And yes, I'm still in Mullen. All I will say is this.
Come on, Neil, what are you doing in Mullen?
Well, I've been short here all day long.
I'm just playing.
I'm dead serious. Like, all day long, I've been short, and it actually tried to go to 4/4. Short 4 with a 4/4 stop. Scalping some out 1-to-1, holding the rest. These guys are doing another reverse split. They're so bad it didn't even stop me out in that move. I should just short more. I've only been taking it at the $4 and giving it the 1/4 cent and taking profit at the 1/4.5 cent.
Right.
But if you're not up, look, if you're not moving up today, if you're underneath VWAP or whatever and making lower highs today, that stock has a problem. That's the other way you've got to think about it. Something that couldn't go today is a problem, and it should be obvious to anybody out there. I just did it again. The number of times that I muscle memory have typed like,
Something's happening again.
yeah, something's happening, but just keep typing like 49 or like 39 or 390 instead of 3.9 cents. Gotta get back to that.
Yeah. That's honestly, I mean, I know it sounds silly, but that is part of the reason why I don't like trading those names.
So many times today.
I can't deal with like the price differences. So just right here on Perplexity, I went to Perplexity to find out a little bit more here. So here it was here, and I don't know, I don't want to step on Adaira's toes if she is doing something, but I just wanted, because people were asking, it is what Adaira had mentioned before, obviously. I just wanted to look it up to see the dates. January 3rd of 2001, we did go 14%. Okay, so yeah, thanks, Adaira. So just in my ear, Adaira is working on something, obviously. I mean, she's killing this right now.
Right.
This is not even going to be in the top 3. I mean, well, let's hope that it does. The funny thing is we went 10% in December. So the reason, again, it's going to be tough because there's just so much in the NASDAQ now. Like, it's like almost like the law of large numbers. you know, where you just get now, back in 2000, the NASDAQ, although it was still the NASDAQ 100, I assume the weightings of the Apples and the Microsofts and all that in the world probably were a little bit bigger than where they were today. And if not, some of those smaller NASDAQ names really would have, you know, probably moved up much more than 20%, like on a Palantir. The floats are bigger now, the money is bigger, so I could see it takes a little while to get through all of that. But again, now today, we have many more hedge funds and algos and all that can definitely help push this market basically wherever they want. So again, a big congratulations today to everybody, man. I mean, this was an alarm kind of a day, that is for sure, as we sit here and celebrate trading at Trader TV Live. So I also want to do a big shout out to everybody that's been super chatting there. Thank you, Luis, for sure. You guys are awesome. Just had the biggest win in your trading experience. Thanks. Well, this is past now, but thanks, Joe, for all your insight. So thank you, Joe, for all of that. And thank you for everybody else for contributing again to the Trader TV Live program, right? So, all right, like I'm still long the NASDAQ. Just for you guys know, I only have 10% left. We exited out of so many up here. I'm almost thinking that like we were gonna fade out today and not be up 10%, but now that I've seen those numbers, it's not like, obviously it's an oddity that we're up this much, but we could still go higher. And who wants to go short?
Shout out in the chat for pointing out when I said if you're a stock that's at the lows or under view up or weak or down today, you should be taking note of that. McDonald's just went red.
What? That was the name I talked about last night.
So, I mean, I guess maybe you could think maybe this has something to do with it was a good, solid defensive name that hadn't fallen as much as everything else. So people that might have been wanting to hide in it or just selling it to put it into something else. I don't know. Like, this seems. Usually my thought is if you're weak today, then it should be a sell until proven otherwise. But I have a hard time feeling that way about McDonald's. That just seems like that doesn't make sense. If everything is okay in the world, they should be just fine. Let's go to Adair, but I can't get behind thinking that this one's a sell.
Might be news there.
Maybe there's news.
I couldn't find any news in McDonald's, but there's a different reason I had to do this call, and it has to do with the overall market. As we know, Goldman Sachs is one of many investment banks basically saying that there could be a chance of a recession. In fact, they were actually increasing their odds of a recession recently. Now they have officially rescinded their call for a recession after Donald Trump decided to pause tariffs for 90 days. So again, Goldman Sachs rescinding their recession call. And back to you.
Well, thank you so much to Long this. Shout out to Canada, because yeah, this is so true. The last time I remember drinking Moosehead was a hell of a long time ago. So thank you to Long this. It was my favorite beer in middle school. So I'm going to say likewise.
Wow.
Obviously he's saying middle school. I mean, we know, I mean, I wasn't drinking in middle school, but shout out to Long this, who was. So there it is, man. He is, or she is, the GOAT. So thank you to Long this for sure, and Luis. And then thank you to Luis as well there, saying about camaraderie. I mean, that's what we're trying to build here, is this relationship with everybody there in the chat. And we really respect many of you. And you guys know that, as we keep calling out the chat daily for some of the ideas that you guys do wind up giving. All right, like obviously the screeners are going nuts right now as everything is just marching higher. It's funny because what screeners are screaming, that's a good one there, my guy. Fabian on fire over there.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I was gonna say that the important thing here about everything is I want to look at Starbucks before I get off track a little bit there. Starbucks with a nice move today. I mean, you mentioned McDonald's. So I was like, what about some of these other names that are potentially strong in China? Maybe the retail names as well. On not the retail, but on the food side of things, there's nice move up there for Starbucks. Starting to go as well. Is Chipotle doing anything? I mean, I don't think these guys are in China, but yeah, there he is, another 10%. So yeah, a lot of these names starting to get pretty excited now today. Everything up 10. You might be right about looking for things that just aren't.
Apple's getting hit a little bit here.
Yeah, the market's
starting to lose. But I look Apple maybe should have gone short on that trend break, but I'm still looking for a re-entry into IBIT because I don't want to give up on the notion. The trend is so far to the long side. There's only like a splattering. Okay, now Amazon's starting to lose its trend as well. So you've got Apple losing trend, Amazon losing trend, Nvidia matters more. Like, these charts are pretty much the same thing. It's on the trend. I'd much rather it just get people out and squeeze the top, because then you get like a continuation type play going into power hour. But if we're going to resolve lower, I don't know that Nvidia would be the one that I would want to fight. I think you want something which is a little bit weaker than that. So if we are losing that trend line, I'm going to go over and see if Apple is going to give you some kind of an entry. Apple, that's going to be too late. What about Pfizer? Pfizer was something that was in part of the short plan already. It's not at a horrible price in here. Yeah, it seems like we're coming back in. I should take some kind of a shot. But that's the thing, like a market, I don't know, you have a day like today and you're like, you don't necessarily want to fight that trend. Normally, it would have been like an automatic shot when it broke the trend line 5-6 minutes ago. But today, not gonna lie, didn't want to take that short. But we're gonna go for it now. We have to, pretty much have to, because everything is breaking trend at the same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out myself here as we go. I just got some out there on the 50-period moving average here on the futures. So I feel like that might be the right thing to do, is just kind of sit here and maybe just trade the futures and wait for that dramatic move one way or the other. And it looks like we are going to get it. Well, we've already had it, but it looks like we may get some more here. I was going to look at Nvidia. I mean, a pretty good signature here at 113. We've sort of, that's one of the Joe's words there. It's looking decent for a top. You know, all the market here, it looks like we could, you know, again, if you like the short right now, you could go 111.50 and give it to 113, $1.50. You know, you definitely could get a $1.50 retracement, I would think, back down as well, if that does hit for you. So that's not a bad play. And then even if we break the 200-period moving average, the 50-period moving average, that's still a go spot. I still think that there is some opportunities here to maybe go short. Well, watch, the futures are starting to break lower. So I just got out. I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit it all. I'm just going to exit it all. So I just got out of it all. I mean, it's a good trade. I mean, I feel like we had diamond hands there. I mean, we made $2 on the majority of those shares. So I feel pretty good about what we wound up doing there. I don't feel that great because we just talked about the short and we didn't put it on. So yeah, there's Nvidia now breaking through 111. That marker is 111. So if you're short right now, you could hold that back against Nvidia and that level. So we are coming back in on the market. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do wind up going for a little bit of a push here. That 50-period moving average is actually, here I have it on E-signal a little bit better, 111.25. So that's more the exact level here on the E-signal 1 minute chart. 111.25, I think, is where you stop out if you're going to be short on Nvidia. So good luck, but that's a trade there that someone could take, and I think I'll probably look at that myself.
Yeah, so just first things first, I punched right out of Mullen over there. We'll be flat on it. I should have scalped it more aggressively, but I wanted to hold it for it to break lows. That was the idea. But it did this little break of the 420 level. So I just punched out when it did because I saw one guy that had an offer there and there wasn't anything past him for another 1/4 cent. So it's either hit him or you don't. So we did that. But I looked over, I was scanning what was breaking the trend in the moment. And Nvidia was gone, Apple was gone, IBIT was gone. Pfizer was gone, which I'm still on the offer of, but AMD wasn't. AMD had broken the trend and was still at the top. Now, I'm still going to be skeptical and thinking that 92.
Damn. Yeah.
Actually, that's 91. That's 91. Sorry, I was in my head, I'm like, it's got to be 92. But no, it's actually 91 that is a prior support. So it's either trend break or 91 we think this can get to. I don't think you're going to VWAP in this situation. I think you throw moves like this, VWAP goes out the window for a trade setup because usually trend break, gap into VWAP. But you have the first dip was at 88.5, and 91 is the big level when you pull out the 15 minutes. So if it gets to that price, I'm out. If we end up setting up a trend on the 3 minute, then I just go down to that trend line on AMD. I still want Pfizer if we can get it. Let me just check back over. Yeah, Pfizer's very gently breaking this trend line and certainly still has a chance to fill me at some point. So I can still get Pfizer short on any kind of a little bit of a pop here. Trying to get 30s on Pfizer. It's only a couple cents away. Just passive order on this $20 stock.
Yeah, I'm trying to get 111s here on Nvidia, but I did take a little bit here at 110.70. I mean, remember, we want to play off of, the stop's already in, 111.30s. If we break that, that's where this 50-period moving average is. We are getting a little bit of a bump up. I was like, damn, man, we missed it, but it's coming back up, so maybe we didn't miss it at all. And this is to be expected. You're gonna get some violent moves, but again, as long as our stops are where they are, I was just giving credit to Real Trading for the quotes, because the quotes have been pretty awesome. And for right now, you could see, even though with all this volume, I mean, what's the record for Nvidia volume? I mean, 413 million times $110. I mean, what is Tesla doing now? That could be in the 400s as well. That's only 150 actually. Apple's volume 111. It's 400. Remember, on 64 on AMD. So you know you have 8x, 7x or so, depending on exactly what we're looking at. The volume is here on Nvidia more than any other name. 413 million shares traded on Nvidia here today. So we'll hold that short, see if it goes. What's the trade on Palantir? Does anybody at 142? I can't really think of anything else that might be there. But anyways, okay. There goes Nvidia. It's taken upside. We're just trading. Okay, here it goes. Bye-bye. We're going to get stopped out here in 2 seconds. There it goes. Once it breaks. So there we go. That was just similar to what Neil was saying. We're just trying. Like, for me to lose on that trade, we lost 13 cents, something like that on that trade. We got out at 28s off. So we lost 30 cents on that trade. Not bad at all, but there goes Nvidia. I guess
I just canceled my Neil's restop.
What do we want to do, man? Yeah, Nvidia's biggest trade today. Q was the second. I often have a problem joining the party. Yeah. Like we made back a decent amount on the Qs, that's for sure, going long there. But at the end of the day, you know, we're underneath the 50-period moving average, so I kind of feel that the short could be something if we do respect the lines that we normally draw. I just don't know. Today you got to sort of respect a little more than that, because the market is a little different today than many
this is a
days.
completely unique day. Like, anybody that says they've seen something like this, no, you haven't. And I'm just being real. We've been trading for over 03. So like 20, well, you're a year longer, but 22, 23 years.
This should be expected.
No, we've seen the market move on headlines. But
no, Fabian mentioned to me, would it be considered a black swan? What
black swan?
That's why you might have heard me say, I said no, because I think it was something that could have been expected.
Right. Like, a black swan can't be something that in the back of your mind, in the back of our minds, you know that Trump can tweet something that will move the market. We've been saying if he says there's a relief or there's deals, the market could move. How much it moved and what was happening before it is what's a little bit unprecedented about it. It's just the way that it happened, the time of day, all of that kind of stuff. But I don't know that you can call it a black swan when everyone's been sitting around waiting for something like this to happen, for the shoe to drop. And I feel, there's some shorts that, there's probably some shorts that were really, really happy and had been doing very, very well today, that got unwound a heck of a lot faster than they expected to, and that's a big portion of what happened here. And then you would have just had cascading liquidations for a lot. And some shorts probably were in the money. Like if you were short AMD forever, it's not like it's out of the money or anything.
I think that's what Joe was saying. Like, he had a good trade on there.
Yeah,
and like I said, I didn't hear what he had said, but just thinking about what he was saying.
Wow, what a bid! Oh, give me a break.
Yeah, we just
I'm just gonna.
We're trying to go short, so we are going to be short here the TQs just because we are at that 50-period moving average. But I said this is a completely different day right now, so I don't. We're going to get stopped out if it breaks 60. That's it, man. We want to stay in the pocket as much as we can today and not blow out our account, because we're thinking that this market's overdone to the upside. There is no ups. There is no overdone anywhere, because the damage in the NASDAQ has been down 30-something%, right, top to bottom. I mean, we could look it up. And at the end of the day, this little 10% move up is something to be respected for sure. So we're gonna have to wait to see where the tariffs land and what's going on with all of this. But again, that pause, the talk with China, it's all good. It's all good news. This could be a multi-day event. So yeah, we're just trying to scalp out right now. We're low 50s here. If we can even take 20 handles, like risking 1-to-1 here, then we'll do that. But right now, man, we are like, again, another tweet, another story, another break away from up or down 5% from here, right? I mean, there's more to come, that is for sure. And it looks like the bid's getting supported here as well. So we're short right here, right now, giving it about up to $50.30. So just giving it a break, basically, of the 50-period moving average, which it looks like we're trying to do right now. So like I said, I think today you can throw all the technical analysis out the window right now and just trade based, there it goes, just trade based on, feel. And right now, I guess the market is just going higher and not really feeling too much other than longs. So
there was so I got to show you this, but I can't show you the level 2 because it didn't just happen. AMD, it did that thing. I was like, what happened to my trend line? That's not where it broke trend. It doesn't matter. It did the breakdown from 95, fell into 94. Everything looked like it was just your standard pullback, and then it just starts going sideways. See, sideways, sideways, sideways. The second it broke the prior bar low, like it's about to take this support out and go down. The second it broke the prior bar low, it got bid right back up with a decent sized order. And we're like, well, that's not cool. So we just punch out. Up 20%, usually you don't see bids get caught like that. So I'm in, like the thing I'm still in is going to be Pfizer, but I'm going to get out when I see a bid like that. I mean, sometimes you just take profit. You just saw it run to the upside. Like that's the crazy price action you're seeing. Down. No, but they just ran it on AMD, and I'm like, I got to get out of that. Not going to let it go back to where we got in. But yeah, Pfizer will still be in. Next out's going to be 2210. But I can tell you, everybody, that if you're looking for unbeatable odds on the biggest games or the biggest tournaments like the Masters this weekend, switch to ProfitX's peer-to-peer platform, where you set the price. No more one-size-fits-all lines. You trade your book. You have your own picking strategy in real time. Bid, ask, swipe the book if you want to.
Swipe it up.
Arbitrage, all those things that you want, the best odds you can secure, track the action, and what?
We have the wrong ad on the screen.
Oh, that's my bad. But remember, at ProfitX, you can use Trader TV, the code, to get 2% cash back up to $300. And of course, the Masters is starting this weekend. We said we're going to do some kind of a pool. We're going to slap something on the Leafs tonight because they have a big game.
We got distracted with that pool, man.
It is what it is.
I didn't even get a chance to look it up in the midday.
We'll get there. We were supposed to, but then everything happened when the market obviously took everyone's attention away. So we just had a little bit of a dip back.
Yeah, that was good.
We just finished. Was showing AMD that it's not even back to where it was before. There's still somebody trying to buy it up at the 94 level. So it did give 95 to 94. We'll take that. But anything that's held trend that didn't get bought up just now, I like a little bit better. So I'm going to stay looking short on this little. You can't even tell really that there was that much of a hump there, but there was a nice little bounce, lower highs getting put in. That still feels like it's going to be good. We got it on the pop here on Pfizer. And if we can get down into like 20, I'm thinking 21.8, because that's where it bounced when I was shorted on the initial move, and it bounced twice. So 21.80 is the ultimate target. I'm going to put a bid in there right now.
All right, we shorted. I mean, we got ran on the Qs, and then we shorted again. We're going to be flat. We're not. I mean, we're up now. We're up 50 cents on this trade, but we just lost 30 cents, and we've been scalping it out. So right now we're in the money net overall, but we're not out. So I'm actually waiting for 70s. Goldman Sachs just came out and said now 45% chance of a recession. That still sounds like a high percent chance there for a recession. They were at 65. So I just heard that in my ear from Benzinga. They're wasted. Yeah, that's what I feel like right now. But yeah, it seems like there is. Get down into the 60s, man. Get down. I'm gonna take another piece out right here. I'm just scalping this out again. Like I've been wrong already. Come on, give me those 69s. That's gonna be $1. I mean, like this is what we talk. Get it. Let's see. Anyways, at the end of the day, this is the risk management that I think everybody. We all have risk management on the floor here, but it's getting stopped out, and we told you it was 30 cents, right? And then hitting that short back, and then getting this back in, and now trying to take profit. So we're going to be up net on these two trades, but I do understand that it's very sloppy because some of you can't do that. Here we go. We're still in 40% of this. Get that down right now. So now we're starting to go again, man. We're starting to cook a little bit here on the short, and I just. Again, I wonder, that's why I asked Neil the question. That's why, we ponder it here, because it's when people look at their accounts, and I was like really surprised that JP Morgan got all the way back up. ARM, things like that. Like if you were able to buy some of these stocks a little bit lower, guess what? You're not out until you do what?
Sell.
Cover, yeah, sell. And
cover.
Either way, right, so yeah, sell, exactly. So until you sell your longs or cover these longs, then you're not out. So like right now, there could be some pressure, and I don't know. It's not. This is just. I'm just speaking. Like I don't know if this is actually happening or not. But there could be some pressure on some longs right now to potentially get out and see what the evening brings here, because we still have the Chinese market to open up obviously later tonight, and we'll get a response. Over
you think
there.
Blue Ocean will move tonight?
No, never.
Yeah, like if anyone that trades Blue Ocean, I'm suspecting you're going to see some pretty good action in the overnight markets for sure. And a shout out to Ahmed, a few other people. Like there's, yes,
Donald Pump.
Like we can all do the hindsight game, and I'll slap the fail on myself because I think the first place we're looking for a short was Apple. Didn't pull the trigger, but you just have to move on to the next. You pick your spots, and at the time that Apple was looking like the good short, I kind of liked the continuation long on IBIT, so that's where you went. And you can win on that trade and realize you should have been better doing something else, but that's something you do in your review. In the moment, you've got to pick something as a trader, and you got to go do that. And you can't always. Hindsight's great for like refining your trades after the fact, like what opportunities are A+ and which ones are B, like that kind of a thing. So obviously, Apple in hindsight looks pretty good, but you have to move on to whatever is going to be the next. I just want to point out this that McDonald's thing. Yeah, McDonald's. So this, I think it's just a correlation deal, because as we made the high on the market and did this little bit of a pullback, McDonald's all of a sudden started bouncing. So it does seem as if like a defensive name like McDonald's was just getting treated as a take. Like it spiked with everything else, and then all of a sudden it started going counter trend. So I guess the relief rally because the algos pull the offer. And when I tell you the algos pull the offer everywhere, they pull the offer on things that don't move. That's the best way to think about it. People were pulling offers and squeezing on everything while it was happening, and now you just have the correlation going back and forth. So I'd suspect if the market catches a bid and runs higher, you might actually see McDonald's retrace to the low. That's not something I'm going to be on, but we just got another bid on Pfizer. Yeah, now we're starting to go. We just got down past 22.10. My out is going to be 21.8 here on Pfizer. So we got our one in, and we're going to look for the target down here, 21.8, where the support was before. I'm not thinking VWAP on anything.
All right, so, Obi and I were talking about this before, because as I mentioned to you, he's trading more of the futures now, and it was just like I was telling him, when you're trading the TQs or the Qs or any stock really, it's just the sandbox is so big. Like you can take an unlimited amount of shares pretty much at any level, because it's all algos, right? And so it's just like you look back over, and when this kind of move happens, you have to start, in my opinion anyways, look to scale out and possibly even use less shares. On some stocks, you want to use more shares. On other stocks, there it is, the hour of power. Wow, here we go. Okay, Neil. Now we are starting to get into some business now as the market pushes back. And again, remember we said this, like we were going to sit here, we were going to talk about why. And the thing is, what's up, Sharif? Not much, just chilling out, you know how we do. But just not used to seeing you here.
I'm doing
Oh, okay. But at the end of the day, what I was saying is it's nice to see when we talked about why we were short, potentially people seeing this. I even just looked in my account. Honestly, I had to look at, I'm not going to be selling anything, but I think that's what a lot of people are doing. Checking their accounts. How much have we made back? Can I get out alive right now? That's what because think about this. The market's bouncing, great. What is the next lever that can be pulled, right? We were all waiting for this. So now it's here. It's like the Super Bowl. So we're waiting for the Super Bowl. The game is like in the third quarter. I don't know. Like what is the next, what else could happen? And like I said, phones ringing off the hook potentially there. And maybe we can get announced that yes, not only has this tariff pause helped, the markets, but also helping other countries realize that the States is serious, and maybe there is some negotiations to be had. All right, what's up, Ozan? Ask me who sold the top Tesla calls. Good job there. And I think that's what, yeah, so shout out to Ozan right there. Or anybody there. I mean, if you're going to be running options today, yeah, it's probably fantastic.
Oh, I can only imagine.
To write and receive premium. So there we go, man. Yeah, if you
the
sold
volatility
those,
on this.
That's great move back in. Well, I'm just going to hold these futures maybe until the end of the day.
What is it? I just realized there's that Veru's going again, and I got to move back.
Vero.
Oh, Yeah, I make that. Veru is that's a stock that we have like some running inside jokes on, but it's Vero that is trying to go again. I'd be a little. See, this is the kind of thing I'd be skeptical about the highs.
Oh no!
Oh, there
He's
he is.
Here. Where did we even find that?
The 92.5% foul
that?
shooter. The man who thinks he can beat me in a race when I'm healthy. The legend himself. What I was trying to get at is, if a dead small capper, like a stock that had been trending down in the small cap, is catching a bid, that's one thing I wouldn't necessarily believe too hard in. I wouldn't want to be paying into that kind of a move. That's just my 2 cents. But as we just caught a little bit of a bounce, next step for me, I'll look for the reload at the lower high at 22.3. If we can get that, great. If we can't, then fine. What's the poll here? I just saw the poll come up, so I'm just I'm reading this through. Should market manipulation be legal if everyone can do it?
I don't really understand that question, to be honest.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say no.
Not everyone can do it, of course.
Like, there's a big difference between like, what do you think the ideal should be, or just because it's not the ideal, should we just accept it? I'm more of a This is a good friend of ours, both of ours. He had a saying that I now absolutely love, and he said, "Principle is priceless." So it's just like, on principle, I have to answer no to that because I don't think it should. I don't think it should be legal. But it doesn't mean I don't acknowledge the way that things are. It's just, principle is priceless. Let's see if we can go to the desk because I think I just heard a call for a dare.
Just be aware here that the market on watch is Donald Trump is making some comments right now. To be clear, he's just having some event here with some race car drivers, so it's not necessarily anything market moving. But of course, if there is any Q&A, there is always a very real chance someone can ask about the market and tariffs. So be cautious here. Trump speaking, I think this is about an hour after he was supposed to begin this event, guys. Back to you.
Nice. Yeah, we also did have the... Neil mentioned the Fed minutes, which don't ask me about them because I have no idea.
Well, someone asked me about it in the chat, and you got to call it like it is. I didn't even look.
I mean, we weren't even paying attention in normal times.
No, I'll have Benzinga up as the headlines come through, and I'll read or X. I'll have X up, and as they have the headlines come through, recap it. Like, I'm just sort of seeing it. I didn't even have it up because all you could look at was what was going on with the volatility in the market. And it's one of those, what are the chances that the Fed did or said anything in their minutes, which sometimes very rarely move the markets that much? What are the chances that it was going to be that big of an event? So I've decided I don't think we're getting 30s here. I might try to take this other lower high in the 20s in front of the quarters on Pfizer. I'm just going to double check IBIT as well, see what's going on with Bitcoin, because we're right back at, well, I know Bitcoin's at 82. I just want to see what's happening with IBIT here. Looks like it's hanging out. Could have shorted this one as well. I'll back away. We'll stick with Pfizer. That seems a little bit more valid over there. What else are you guys looking at? Because it's just, I'm curious. I'm always curious. Like, what was your experience through any of this? Like, did anybody have like a breakout long just sort of set? Because when you look at some of these trades, when I look back in hindsight, one of the things I'm thinking about is when I look at this IBIT, it was trending up into a flat top. So could you have taken this break, or was this the kind of candle? I wasn't at my desk. I was at the big desk doing something. Or were you just rinsed in both directions and then it went higher? Like, what was your experience? Did anyone actually get these breakouts, or did they just rinse everybody in both directions and then go up? And when I say they, I mean the algos by dropping the quote, therefore causing causing that kind of chaos. I don't mean some mythical they. I just mean the price action because of what the algos do.
I think it's a reasonable question to ask. All right, so the futures are making that move back up. So as we had said there, it's going to be a little bit of a volatile day. The only name that I saw that was moving towards anything, and maybe it's just I have to reset my e-signal here, the only alert that I have right now is Apple. That Apple moved down, and okay, so there we go. I just heard Adara panic. It said to me, so I'm always a little bit anxious of that. So let's go over to Adara and find out what she's up to.
So the first question that Donald Trump gets here at this racing event is, why did you post "be cool" and then hours later announce these tariffs? He said that he thought people were getting a little too worried, and that's why he posted "be cool." Again, there have been some concerns here about potential market manipulation, given the fact that Donald Trump posted "be cool" and this is a great time to buy, both within minutes of the stock market opening, and then rallies the market here after announcing a 90-day pause on tariffs. That's the first question here, just worth noting. I will let you guys know if anything else of note comes up. Back to you.
Oh man, we just missed, and you know, obviously we always say fade, not fade plays, but stick with your line. Like, we had just missed that 50-period moving average, man. We're at 30s, it went to 28s. Like, I can't even, you know, that's exactly what happened. And we just got missed on that. So we'll play this fade back down in right there, as many people asking many people asking the exact same questions that I was trying to figure out there. And that is where do we lie with all of that? But we'll figure it out. Probably absolutely nowhere. I assume he's allowed to say what he wants and do what he wants. And, you know, there's been proof that he's done many things and you know, there's really been no ramifications at all for this gentleman. So we'll wait to see what's going on. But yeah,
I love what's in the chat. I saw a few people in there sort of saying that they bought the second they heard the news. I mean, congrats. What I was also getting that is if you were a person that puts in, like when you punch long on a break, you have a stop that goes in right away, maybe with a bracket order, you do it manually. I just fear that almost everything ran in both directions at that moment. And we've seen that oftentimes where you'll see that phenomenon a lot, maybe not so much anymore. It used to happen rampantly around economic numbers, where before it would go in a direction, there was a tendency for it to run both directions, the obvious stops, and then go. That's so you can shake out all the traders and then go the way they want it to. And again, it is what it is. There's that Trump presser happening, so I think you want to keep things a little bit tight to the vest. I reloaded on a lower high here, so I'm gonna maybe stick to the rule, which is if this is trending back down, the prior bar is all the way at break even. I don't know that I want to give it all the way to that. So I'll give it to the top of this trend line and just give it to 30. So with the reload, my price is now 27. I'm willing to risk it just past the 30s. Keep it tight to the vest this afternoon a little bit more. That's just the way I want to respect it. So for now, we're trending down a little bit here. And let's see if we can maybe work this back into 21.80. Dan McIsaac, the first candle was down. It definitely hit stops before running up. You know, that's all. Look, obviously that's nasty, but that's actually better than breaking the top and then breaking the bottom and then going. Because at least it means that if you had the breakout, you were clean. I just wasn't sure which happened first, because as I said, I wasn't at my desk. I was in the short in Pfizer. I had some from the morning. I had added some a little bit lower and then got stopped out, as you can see here. Thankfully, it's just one of those, like, fortunate to be up on a stock like Pfizer when this happens to you. Use stops. I know we've had traders say that. I know traders that don't use stop orders, and they like to, well, when it gets to this area, I want to make a decision and all that good stuff. In this environment, especially with what we have the phenomenon with any headline can move the market like this, I think you want to have some hard stops, because you can still say, well, if it gets to this price, I'll make a decision, but have a hard stop just protecting your butt back there so that you don't take some kind of an awful unexpected loss. But that's, again, to each their own. Mm-hmm. I know lots of people that just don't like stop out.
Yeah, the whole market's going now.
Yeah, we're starting to bounce here. So as I said, I've moved this stop into 30. Price is now 27, so we'll risk about 4 or 5 cents on this trade. And if it goes, it goes.
Yep, and I was going to say the same thing right now, because we're starting to go right now. We're going to get stopped out if it breaks through 70s right here on our friend, the futures. I just didn't want to interrupt you. I was going to say, it's like, you just mentioned stops and perfectly said, because, you know, when you have the market like this and it is very headline driven, you know, you may not want to even be trading right now. So I'm just trying to trade off of key levels. Like I said, I'm watching the charts. I'm watching for something to be happening. And right now it's like, I'm short now and that's it. If this runs 70s, I'm gone. Like, we're short here at the 50-period moving average. This has nothing to do with technicals now. This market is basically obviously driven now on headlines as we go up and down. And Trump is speaking right now. Yeah, so we have to go to Adair and find out what that's all about.
Is a little infographic here we just posted on X at TTV Research. Here are the top 10 days by percentage gain in NASDAQ history. I have not included today yet, but of course we'll update this tomorrow once we know exactly what today's close was. Here's what's really interesting. There are only 4 years represented on this infographic: 2000, 2001, 2008, and 2020. All of those years are pretty notable with regards to changed in the stock market. Of course, we had the dot-com bubble and the resulting crash here in 2000 and 2001. 2008, of course, the financial crisis. And then in 2020, we had the COVID pandemic. So we have to wait and see what happens here with 2025. But it's worth noting all 4 of these years clearly had great highs and great lows for the stock market. I think that's something worth noting and something certainly we might have more infographics about going forward because it's pretty interesting stuff. But you can check this out on X at TTV Research. Also, we still have comments coming out here from Donald Trump at this racing event. People continue to ask him about tariffs. He does believe a deal can be struck with China, and he said that basically he was handed a sick country and it's going to take time to fix this country, and that includes the economy. Back to you.
Well, we know it's going to take time, and, you know, we've got nothing but time, of course, as we're here every single day. We want to thank everybody for staying with us, watching us, and supporting the channel, and thank you so much for that run of Super Chats there on the midday. We want to say a big shout out to everybody that participated there, and thank you so much for all of that. All right, man, we know the play here, and it's just going to be wait and see. If there's any stocks you guys want us to talk about, let's just do that real quick because... Okay, so I just want to look at this fat pipe, halted a bunch of times. I was just interested in it just to see what was going on. Newsmax was another name that's been pretty hot for a while, $32, $33 right now and not really doing too much. So, yeah, everybody else, like, just, you know, stay as maybe as nimble as you can today. Uber is a stock that I've been buying in the mid-60s, of course, and now it's mid-70s. So that's, or I guess so, kind of low 70s. So that's had a nice move up there today as well, 11%. Futures now just took the 50-period moving average. So here we go, man. Like I said, when Trump speaks, man, we better all listen. So right now, again, Adair's going to break all the news for us. But there goes those futures one last time, up and out. So, yeah, we tried the 50-period moving average and now out once it breaks that 60 level, as we had said. So, yeah, man.
I just don't want to be short while he's talking.
Yeah, thank you so much to Ali as well. Oh, okay, we can ask this to Adair. I actually asked Adair yesterday about these glasses, so need to know where Adair got the glasses. What a wild day. Let's go. So thank you so much.
I just got them from my optometrist. They are prescription glasses. I have really, really bad vision. You're going to be seeing more of these.
I like just how huge those glasses are. I think they're pretty cool. So shout out to Adair. I actually talked to her about it on the recap show. She's contacts her glasses.
Yeah,
so
well, that's
like,
if you're
gonna have one, you might as well have fashionable. Yeah, yes.
When I was a kid, my dad got contacts. He used to wear glasses all the time. And I didn't remember this was true because he told us this after the fact that both my brother and I told him, you need to get rid of those contacts and wear glasses again. Because apparently we were so accustomed, we were really young, we were so accustomed to him being in glasses that we didn't like it. It's that change thing. It's like, you don't look the same, Dad. But we got another super chat in here, so I want to make sure we got this. Tommy Joe in the chat, appreciate you. Make some, I meant to do that.
Look at the market going again.
Wow. Yeah, Marcus trying to go. No, you're just saying make some Palantir plays. I'm not forcing anything in Power Hour today. Right now, it's been a good day today. At the end of the day, this is ridiculous, some of these moves. I think when he's off the podium, then we can maybe look for some standard plays. I thought there was going to be a good mean revert on some of these. They didn't really follow through. That could come back into playoff resistance. If and when Trump is done talking. I just feel like he makes one comment that hits the right way or the wrong way, and you could have a big move one direction or the other. I just think be patient. You have the imbalances coming in about 30 minutes or so you're into that last little salvo on the day. But let's go over to Adara at the desk and take care of some business.
This part of the show is brought to you by WorkSport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ, WorkSport, ticker WKSP. WorkSport's a U.S.-based manufacturer, and they're rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. So whether you are on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, WorkSport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under ticker WKSP, discover the future of clean energy with WorkSport. Back to you.
Yeah. Okay.
What are
Nvidia's 112 right now. It's high. We had mentioned, trading through that break right there. We didn't do anything with it, but yeah. 113, 114. Let's check in on some of the ETFs here. So if you want to just quickly look, you know, we've been talking forever, but Bitcoin back up to 82,000. So that's really nice. Here is Sector Watch. Again, this is not going to be like, you know, crazy sector watch or anything like that, but let's just go over just real quickly here as I keep on hitting refresh and make sure, because last time we didn't have the right numbers here. But look at this, man. Here's the S&P information technology. Let's just call it the NASDAQ. Up 11.7%, followed by consumer discretionary 9, community comm services 8, industrials 8, everything 8. As we get back down here, consumer staples only 4%, S&P healthcare. So we saw them getting clocked before. Nice move there. What is the worst of the worst today? Yeah, it looks like it's utilities and healthcare. So out of all of these, man, I just sorted by availability there, 3.29% for the S&P utilities. So yeah, really, really great day there across the market in general. It's not really discriminating today, is it? Everything making moves higher. So, all right, Tesla, I have to refresh my e-signal account. I just realized that I think it got...
Donald Trump that,
Go ahead.
certain companies could get exempt.
Okay, so just from Sharif here, he's hearing this. Certain companies could get exempt from these tariffs in the next couple of days. So when we're looking at that, obviously you look right at Tesla because he's boys. And Adara has the story. So I go right over to GM, but let's see what Adara has to say.
Yeah, that was the throw I was going to do there. So basically what happens here is Donald Trump is saying that he will take a look at exempting some U.S. companies as time goes by. So there's really no clarity in the timing of this or if it will happen. He also added a little bit more insight into the timing of what's happening here with regards to this tariff announcement. He posted about this earlier on Truth Social as well, but he did clarify that he watched Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan, on Fox this morning and said that Jamie Dimon said, quote, something had to be done. So interesting. We'll have to wait and see if this actually played a role in his decision, but the timing of this is pretty interesting. He posted about the Jamie Dimon interview just about less than an hour before the Be Cool, and this is a great time to buy post. So interesting insight there on Trump's Truth Social post and what that might reveal of the timing of his tariff announcements. Back to you.
Mentioned. Okay.
He's done.
All right, Fabian, give me a second here because I want to make sure we do it properly. Okay, so just real quickly here, he's done. What does that mean? He's off the podium or he's off?
Yep.
Okay, so if he's gone right now, then we're going to figure this out right here at 51.30, 51.40, coming through again right now. So there it is, 51.62. Okay, so that's the high of the Qs right now. And if he's going to be gone and done speaking, I do wonder if now maybe the short may eventually work. I just don't want any more headlines coming in. We can't guarantee that. So maybe hands off is the right thing. That's why I was like looking for some names, and that's why I'm trying to refresh some of these alerts as we go. Yeah, possible short into the high of the day. What is Apple doing? I don't think the problems at Apple are fixed by any stretch of the imaginations here because, wow, actually the 1 minute chart, no wonder Apple was triggering on my report there. Like down into 185, now back up to 190, 192, 193, 194. Okay, Apple. You know, why are we even shorting the market? We could just short Apple right now against this level. Apple really going to ridiculous upside right now, as I guess rumors abound that, you know, China is going to get, or Vietnam or somebody here where Apple's producing, India, all these countries maybe get that little bonus. I mean, Tim Cook was probably like, yo, my guy, about a month ago, I told you how much we're investing into the United States. Why are you wiping out $900 billion out of our market cap right there? But there it goes, man. Nice move up to 193 right now for Apple.
That's insane. I don't even know what is going on with Apple right now. Look, a couple of people are asking about the early look imbalances. I put them in the chat there. FXI, UiPath are the ones that are going. But Apple is going absolutely ham. That's, to me, that's not the one that I want to fade. When I'm seeing that kind of price action in Power Hour, it's got to show you something very distinct. And the high is $1.50 from here. So even if you're thinking about it, then you wait till it gets into that price. But what I did notice, for myself at least, is in that push back up, ES, NASDAQ, back at the high of the day, Pfizer's it's still making a lower high. So I think this is relatively weak. I'm making another shot and we curl here. Give me the stock that's not breaking the high of the day when the market is, if you're trying to take a short. Everything else is just screaming to the high side, to the upside on Apple. And it was at 93 a second ago. I flipped away. It's now at that 95 already. And it's still going nuts. Like if you look at the tape, it is complete insanity through that tape. It did get to that 195.
195.
Give me the stock that's not making the highs. And that's the one I want to try and grab here. But Apple just blew through 95 half, actually just tested 96.
Trump is still speaking.
Give it that. I see him shaking hands on that TV. Oh, that's delayed?
Yeah, it's like 4 minutes behind you.
Gotcha. Sorry, we had a TV to our right, and so everyone's saying he's done. I'm like, oh, he's wrapping it up, and I just still saw him talking. Yeah, that's, obviously I could just take everyone's word.
Sharif is loving rock music, man, over there.
What is that?
This guy, I don't know. I think his ringtone is like Van Halen or something.
He's watching
over there.
TikTok.
He's always watching TikTok. Okay, I feel that. He's like, yeah, TikTok ain't getting banned anymore, my guy. All right, we just got small trade there on Apple, but we are blasting now on Apple. Okay, like look at the volume. Look at these volume candles. Like I thought maybe that last one was the high, but oh, they just confirmed some sort of a nominee here. Ronald Johnson, your new U.S. ambassador to Mexico. So there we go. Thank you to Ronald. What's up, Fabian? To Ronald Johnson there. Congratulations, my guy. I have no idea who you are, but congratulations to Ronald himself. All right, let's go. Fabian, are we ready to go? All right, let's do this then. Tired of staring at charts all day? What if a robot, that'd be really nice, could trade for you? Meet Forex Vim. Forex Vim is an AI-powered trading bot that scans markets 24/7, executes trades automatically, and even manages risks for you. No emotions, that'd be good. No guesswork, just precision trading on autopilot. It works on MT4, specializes in gold trading, XAU versus and USD. So that's the Forex code there, and comes with easy setup and great customer support. So if you want stress-free trading, try Forex Vim today. Visit Forex Vim, that's VIM, forexvim.com, or click the link in the description box below. So yeah, Forex Vim, what up? Right there. Okay, well, I mean, as we come back, I noticed that we did get stopped out at 197, so that was good as Apple goes. Yeah, we went short. Well, we actually weren't that bad there.
What the heck is going on?
Anyways, at the end of the day, the short is not what's printing right now. I wonder what is going on with these imbalances here today. You know, could they get nasty? They're not even that huge. Apple, the volume in Apple is not subsiding, by the way. You are now up to 198. Like, what is Tesla doing?
The last time I saw last time we saw Apple do this was on the December. Remember the December imbalance when it ran like a bat out of you know what into the imbalance and then did a flush. So, but it's only 325. But that's completely insane. What's going on there in Apple? This is unbelievable. TC, you're right. This is complete and utter nonsense. What's going on? The price action in here, like even.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, we're not doing too much damage, but we did short. Yeah, I'm just trying to do something.
What?
Well, Apple just dropped $2. Like, we get stopped out there. That's okay. Well, yeah, now it's right back to 197 all of a sudden. So we took something out there at 60 on Nvidia. We went short basically right here where we are right now against that high of 113.30s. Will Nvidia run that top? Yeah, I thought maybe volume was decreasing a little bit, which it was, and we sort of lost some of those bid profiles there on the volume, but I don't know. It doesn't look like that's going to be. Like, notice what I'm trying to do is just trying to play near the top here and catch something to go down. And then if we don't catch it, fine. Like, we can get stopped out and basically without even blinking and not even worry too much about it. So we're right here right now, which means the stop for Nvidia has to go out at the high of the day. So 113.50s, if we break through there, then we are going to stop out of NVDA as it continues its march higher. This is going to look silly, all these shorts, but I just think the risk right now is with the NASDAQ up 12%. It's going to be the second largest day in history if we close right now. The only day higher was 2001 when we moved 14%, when the market was much different than where it was today, the composition of it. So we'll have to wait to see where we go now. Good short happening for Nvidia. Let's just cover something here in the 80s as Nvidia making dreams come true today for the long. We're just trying to make it happen for the short right now. We're just making a little bit back, man. We're just scalping this out. Okay, let's go. We're just scalping this out now. We're looking for a bigger move. I'm now out of 10%. Maybe we can get that. Let's put something a little bit lower here and see if we can make some money on this short. There's Apple pulling back in as well. So we're right now short Nvidia 113.15. We'll see if we can do something on that right now. Bidding 75s. See if we can get a little bit more out. Just trying to make back some of that blood that we had created with the shorts earlier. So we'll wait to see into the close now. It's only 3:30. There's much more to come here in today's market, Neil, as I don't need to tell you that.
Which is complete and utter craziness. I can't, like, AMD got back to 22% up, went right back into the high of the day. It just
down
picked
Nvidia
it at 96. I jumped into that short. I want to give a big shout out to, thank you very much, Longness, for the super chat.
Yeah.
Apple just paid all your super chats today. Trader TV is cheaper than Benzinga. Well, Benzinga charges something.
Anything more than free.
As long as, well, exactly that. And that's what we're here for. It's not about what is happening tomorrow or what, I mean, it can be. We talk about other things like that too. But it's about what's happening right now. Like what's moving, make sure we get you guys the news in real time so you can make whatever decision you want based on that. And on a day like today, you really want to keep your head on a swivel and your ear to the ground and all that good stuff. And just throw in whatever fun factor pun you want to say.
Hit the like and subscribe button.
Why don't I have a fade in that one? I always get a fade. I don't know why I don't have a fade in that. Everybody got to shoot a new one except for me, Fabian. I'm just throwing that there. Just one quick note. I did jump into, it's not a big deal. It's just that I would love to shoot a new one. That's been the same one for like a year now. What? Oh, you're pawning, it's an Andre thing? Oh, I just said you, Fabian, because I'm looking forward and seeing you. That's all. I wasn't trying to single you out there. But I would love a new idea. I want to do some kind of a movie theme again. I just don't really know. I love the A-Team. We'll think of something else. But I did just get stopped out of Pfizer. It just came right to that prior high.
You should be Steve from Minecraft.
Steve from Minecraft? Come on, man. I do like that was a fun
Black
movie.
action.
It was a very it was
setting
a really
records
fun
apparently
movie.
that movie, man.
The kids love that thing.
People are loving.
Of course they love it. They love that thing.
No, because I went. No. So I went to the screening on Thursday. Like the movie wasn't even really. It was just a pre-screen.
Yeah, you got a pre.
So we were there, and it was a hell of a lot of fun, and we didn't have any of that chaos. But my son would have. Yeah, he would have loved. My kid was like, "Oh man, I want to go back so he can do all that stuff."
Everyone's doing that TikTok stuff.
It's like you're not doing that, man.
No. Look, man. There's little kids that watch it. That's all I'm gonna say. My daughter, at the end of the movie, my daughter said to us, "Why were those people making it so we couldn't hear?" So
those people. And those people, Neil?
Well. Okay, let me go back to trading for a second. The second we ticked 1 penny above the high, I punched out. I'm not holding anything past the high of the day. Like, I'd rather have hold for the move, get out on that stop, and just try to keep it tight. And look, I don't want to sound, I'm not going to be old man or anything. You go to like Rocky Horror Picture Show or go watch The Room, one of those screens, I'm down for that audience experience. I actually didn't mind any of that hooting and hollering and clapping. I was pretty cool with it, but there were kids under 10 years old who loved Minecraft and were sad. Like one little kid was yelling out for people to shut up. And I'm like, if a 9-year-old kid is complaining, maybe just...
That's a problem with that kid. Yeah, no, I'm with you. And I mean, it's for the kids, right?
Yeah, it's for kids. Let them have their fun.
Yeah.
But I am an old man.
Yeah. So...
Gold record territory again?
Yeah, gold is up to $3,100 again. So gold up 4%. So we did pretty good, man, covering this trade, like not like as in covering the position. So here we go, man. Our stop is at break of 50. That's the high. We just shorted the high of the day on Nvidia, and that is going to absolutely run the high right now. So we're short at 21s. This will be a 25-cent hit, but honestly, I could see my net. It's not like we're flat on Nvidia today, and it just, everything's going. We should be definitely buying dips instead of shorting rips right now, but we've done okay. We only really lost, and anyways, I'm going to get stopped out rates. Nope, almost soon. It was just the TQs. I'll show you where basically this was the problem for me, is that we were just shorting in here as this market was ripping. We actually had some good moves down, and then we finally went long, and we made money back. So it's been fine. It's just that last Nvidia trade. Actually, it's almost exactly flat on this Nvidia trade. But again, if we just waited for the break of the high of the day, we wouldn't be exactly flat. We'd be now in the money 40 cents. So I think it's about playing longs right now. These TQs, the NASDAQ is now up 12, before I say that, almost 12%.
Fixed.
Like, go long, go long, go long, man. Everything go long. Well, what's fixed?
Oh, no. Remember I was saying I had that
Apple
issue with
short
my call port? It just fixed itself. I didn't even do anything. Go real trading. Oh, someone just told me, it's
I'm
not
looking
exactly.
for something that's spiking on volume here.
It isn't completely fixed. I was looking at this. UVXY is down from the open 40%. ARM from the open 25, 22 so far. AMD just hit 22. DJT, what's the... Okay, I mean, look, I get why DJT is up, but
they were up earlier, too.
Yeah, like I get it and I don't get it, but Affirm, maybe this is a name that we don't talk about enough. Like there's certain names out there, everyone's like, what do you do? There's certain names that I would put in a bucket of, I'd be taking the profit. Like I feel like Affirm continues to rally. I said this about SoFi. I own SoFi shares that if we get to the 50 period, I'm looking to take some out if I see SoFi getting anywhere close to the 50 period moving average. I can't say that I don't still own Affirm shares. I did back in COVID. But some things, if I was getting a bounce, I think if you saw it in the mid 50s in a couple of days, I'd be taking the profit there. It's like, what do you feel comfortable holding if this doesn't really change? And then we go back to a little bit of the uncertainty, and why not ring the register? Because if you bought on the panic, like the panic lows, like we had a 2-day bottom here. It's very reasonable that if this is a stock you were buying, you're in it at 34, 35, 33, like somewhere in there. You get to those 50s, man, talking 40, 50% return in a couple of days already, you've got a good gain. It just feels as if there's going to be profit takers, so why not take a shot? But for now, I'm just backing off, maybe looking for something very, very clean that we can find. I just saw Epic Strategy saying what's going on with Tesla, same as everything else. 270. I can't believe it's going to be back at 280.
I was going to say Nvidia was $88 3 days ago.
Should have bought those 220s again.
100.
But I wasn't even. I said it 3 times. I'm not buying the 220s again on Tesla.
All right, so there you go.
It's just, it didn't feel like it was the right thing to do. Hindsight's always going to be 20/20. But remember, 280, it's not a joke. Like 280 had some pretty massive selling in it the last couple of weeks here. And that's where we're screaming into tomorrow. At least it seems like that's what we're screaming into.
I was going to say Apple does Apple have a 200 feel to it today, right? I mean, its high it just bounced off. Like we want to talk about maybe making a trade right there, 199. It just touched it twice, so maybe. For Apple, is it just sort of ramping itself up here to get going now and take that out? We just tested it again. It is pulling back a little bit here. Is Apple, Nvidia just ran 114 right now to the upside. Futures trying to go higher as well. What's popping off here? Amazon's at a key level maybe of 190 right now, pulling back in from that as well. Everything is starting to really get excited here, obviously, as we go. Space now, Power 15 is coming, apparently, whatever that means for Tesla. Right now in the last, 25 minutes here for TSLA. 270 just got taken out. Neil was just talking about it, so whatever. I don't know, we kept on calling Rivi and Randy, that's what it was. I don't know if he bought that dip or not, but today, his key level was 1020. So I think he might have just missed it again, but up to 1170 again, up 9% therefore today. So let's see what Nvidia wants to do up here at 114. So all right. I know you got something to do.
Let's do it, because if you're looking for levels, if you're looking to up your trading, not yet. Well, I can lead into it a better way here, because I was asked a question in a super chat about a stock, and I'll get into TIVC. And the first thing I did is I pulled it up on eSignal. So Nick W, when you said, do you mind looking at TIVC, swing it for long? I pulled it up on eSignal and pulled up a weekly chart and immediately found that this is a habitual reverse splitter. It's one of those types of names. That's my go-to source. Make sure I zoom out so you get the straight goods, because I don't swing those things. And I wouldn't take a shot at them because I just don't believe in them fundamentally. They drop an offering on you, or they do a reverse split and then they tank again. So you got to be careful. When in doubt, zoom out. And if you're going to zoom out in a chart, you might want to do it on a charting platform like eSignal, where you're going to have the best and most reliable data that you can imagine. And it
didn't even
just
break
a
the
small
high.
thing. The first month is free.
What?
Free, just like Trader TV Live, everybody.
Sounds good.
That's right. They're waiving their fees so that you're able to upgrade your trading experience to an elite one. The platform gives you everything. Customizable charts, every indicator you can imagine, backtesting, forward testing, API access, attaching to your broker so you can execute trades in real time, level 2, imbalance locator, pretty much everything you need all in one platform. Highly reliable and very, very customizable, user-friendly. They've also got good trade support. I know I've used it in the past, just asking for random questions, whatever it might be. You don't understand the platform, then make sure that they work for you. It's a good platform. And hey, like I said, the first month is going to be free, so you can take a shot. You can scan the QR code that you see in front of you, check the link in the description. And just to finish the thought, Nick, I know it's upward trending. I am not aware of any news on it. I didn't really look that up. Once I see it's that reverse split story, chasing it when it's already gone that's what I wouldn't like. It's always a different story if you have something like this early and you're talking about holding on to it or just giving it a chance to run more. That's much different than buying it after it's gone. When I see that on the daily chart or the weekly chart or whatever it might be. So again, there's nothing wrong with swing trading and taking shots in stocks. There was that one today, the symbol I forget. I was like, man, if it goes down to 1 or 2 cents, I think I might take a shot at it. I already forget the name of that stock, but you have to have some kind of a plan or some kind of rule.
or something.
It was FMTO. It was Fento, and I was just like, if they're not going straight up bankrupt, I did play. That was like, you can't even tell. I did play like the 7 halt. Like it fell so far that you can't even see movement in here, but it was moving literally from like 5 cents up to like 9, 10 cents. Like it was doubling down here at the bottom. And I was sort of thinking, if it's not completely going out, maybe I should take a shot there.
Nvidia.
But I don't even care anymore. Like after this market move, you got to look at something else for sure. So just always be careful with these small cappers, everybody. Like they are dangerous. Rug pulls are the norm, not the exception.
Yeah, no. Yes. Good call there on that one for sure. Good way to put that. Okay, so we are trying to buy these dips in Nvidia now. It looks like this last one may finally work. So let's get a little bit out here and just celebrate the fact that we finally got a dip buy opportunity here for Nvidia. So we just wanted to play what we thought was going to be right here, and that was going to be the long in this name. You can sort of see we did try to. Okay, well now it comes right back up to the highs. So that's going to be a good trade for us here on Nvidia. This is actually a little bit of a day saver right now because we were screwing up in the last little bit by trying to go short. We finally waited for a dip buy opportunity and bought. Well, it's hard to. Sorry, guys. I know it's hard to see as I have so many trades. There's the dip buy right there. So now we're trying to break through on Nvidia. Let's see how high we can fly. We've been up here before, and this is where we punch long and we averaged in and yada, yada, yada. But this time averaging in seems to be right. So yada, yada, yada. We know where that's from. I wonder if Sharif does. He doesn't watch Seinfeld there. Wow.
Everybody knows it.
Okay. Let's go. Nice move. Oh, you know what we didn't look at here? Let's just see. So we're now $1 in the money on Nvidia.
The SPY is a 2 million buy.
Okay, I was gonna look at imbalances, but you know what? Actually, Neil, that's actually not what I was gonna look at. Sorry, my bad. Was CoreWeave. I just wanted to see what this was doing today. Up 10%. Okay, so that's a nice move. We had talked about $42 being somewhat key. It looks like we broke way below that here today. We went into $39 before that move happened. So CoreWeave $10 top to bottom. Okay, I have to watch this Nvidia trade because we just have a couple hundred shares, which is not that many. But as we continue to go higher up here for Nvidia, oops, that's not even Nvidia. We do want to scalp it out because it did just break below 114 again. So we're long at 113.30 here on Nvidia. So bang, but we need some more. Let's go. Let's see if we can get some more here into the close. You were talking about the imbalances. What did you notice on?
So two things. One, SPY is 2.4 million to buy, but FXI just doubled up and is now 5.5 million to sell. So FXI at 5.5 to sell. If this starts to get any bigger, you still have 10 minutes to go till the imbalances come out. If it gets over 10 million, you got to start really thinking about it. And they're pulling off like everything's at the highs. But FXI is pulling back off these highs a little bit here. So going to have I'm going to have this up as long as it looks this big. And ideally, it gets even bigger than that. And look, I think it also makes a little bit of sense. I feel as if you can hold the highs better in the U.S. than you would on the Chinese ETF. That's just a guess. It's 5.5 million. If it comes out bigger of a sell, I think I take a shot because it's giving you a chance to play off the high, at least for now. So we're in the last 8 minutes before the imbalances. Try to wait up until 350 to take a shot, but FXI is on the mind here. Only up 7% FXI, that it? I mean, the market's up 11% and you're only up 7, you're just not doing anything. So it's buying balances on the spot, but remember, 2 million, we saw this earlier in the week, and 2 million was pretty much a nothing burger on the SPY. Like, it came out, it didn't even move the market. You want to see it bigger than the early imbalance that you're getting shown. That's the ideal. Like, you want it to come out as a bit of a surprise. If it comes out what everybody can see or comes out smaller, then it doesn't matter to me that it's a buy imbalance at all. Just going to double check to see for you guys what's going on with Apple. Remember, Apple was one of the biggest leaders here on this move to the upside, and it seems like it's made a little bit of a top. And on the move, on the first pullback that we had, the first thing to go was Apple. And everything else just kind of fell behind or fell in line, for lack of a better term. This time, I think you look for maybe the same thing. So if you're in a long, like I'm not in a long, I'm not forcing anything this late in the day. But if you're looking at something where you're holding the bid, probably worth looking at Apple and what it did last time. Like, it definitely pulled back and then dragged a few things with it. And this is the biggest parabolic mover in the last, maybe the last half hour, 45 minutes or so. Actually, right in power hour at 3 o'clock. This is your biggest parabolic mover. So I'd expect that to move it in the other direction as well. 1320 Wolf, I don't trust this market at all. You know what? That is completely cool. Straight up. Like, if you're looking at this, I'm looking at it and saying, you know, there was way more clear direction before. Like, now you're just sort of getting tossed around. It's like, slipped here, stop there, just get in, flip back and forth. That's not what I'm ever looking to do. I like clean mean reversion trades. I like clean support and resistance. And if you're not seeing anything like that, you don't have to. You're not forced to trade. One of the things that would always happen around the trading floor that we would say is there's nothing wrong with new traders sit out the open, new traders sit out the close, crazy volume events, sit back. You had to watch it. You're not allowed to get up from your desk. You should be watching the tape, and you should be looking for some reads and observing the market information and what it's telling you, but you're definitely not forced to sit there and trade. And Larry H., that's a good one. What companies have earnings today? In all of that, I forgot to go over our notes for tonight. Earnings, you know it's got to be big if you're reporting on a day like today. We saw what happened with RH when they happened to report at the wrong time. But tonight, you don't really have any. I don't think you have anybody of any size reporting tonight. And I think that's probably a good thing for any companies, ultimately. Because the volatility is just insane. The RH CEO was literally cursing on his conference call. When he looked at the stock price, you can go back and watch it. He looked at the stock price and went absolutely nuts. And good look, Ali Swans, you do have CPI report tomorrow. But I kind of feel like we're in a market where Donald Trump matters more than the CPI report. And the jobs report.
Yes, I mean, it's a good look.
No, I'm not saying the CPI report doesn't matter. I'm just...
Hot take.
No, I'm not saying the CPI doesn't matter. The labor market matters. The Fed still matters. Like, these things matter, but we just went 11% to the upside on a tweet, on a what do we call it?
Tweet is fine.
Post? Tweet?
A truth?
A truth.
Truther?
On a truth. So...
I hate that they're called the truth because it doesn't mean you're actually tweeting the truth.
Yeah,
What are we calling those? I think they're...
Post, maybe?
Post.
Let's call it a post.
Truth.
I don't know. Casey France says you call it a truth.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't really matter.
Truth social. No, it's not that it wasn't the truth. I'm saying I thought there was a word for it. That's all.
Usually there is like a cool hip word that you would say. So I'm not saying tweet all the time.
Yeah. Hey, Dad. All right, so we're we left to try to let this go a little bit there. We got a drink, we did whatever, so it's up to Adara. But you know what? The market's really not doing a whole heck of a lot. It is doing a lot. I shouldn't say it's not doing a whole hell of a lot. But Nvidia stopped there at 1440s. It did there like 3 times. So we're just going to empty out. I don't know. like how we're able to catch those bottoms there, but we did. So that was a good one. That's why we're long right now at 113.30. So we'll take $1. See, I'm starting to get out more now because we are moments away from these imbalances, right? And so we'll see. UiPath is halted. Is that what just happened? No. Okay. I thought maybe because the paired value was so low, but UiPath, how much is that up today? 11%. You know what? I wonder what, I'm just going to get rid of the broker here. Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder what ARK was up today because that's probably up another 10% as well. So we'll wait for that to come through the imbalances very, very soon. So ARK, ARKK, right? So this is the innovation ETF. This is the one that everyone talks about. So we'll see what this is up 17%. Wow. Congratulations for ARK. The one I have is ARKQ, the robotics. I bought this like, what? ARKQ, isn't that what it is? Oh, I went to Blue Ocean. There it is. So we'll see what this one is again. We actually had Raider Trader on liking robotics, right? And all right, now it's just not even loading. I apologize. It might.
Hold on.
You might as well go to yours. My data is definitely.
Sorry, I was just looking at ARK. You wanted ARKQ. I was just looking at ARKK.
There it is.
Oh shoot! I have I have a weekly chart.
I have it up now. It's working now. But
that's not a bad. See, this one's weekly chart actually looks pretty solid at some of these levels.
So I've been getting out here. Nvidia's falling back in. So again, I think this is probably due to the. Here, I keep switching when my chart's not going. Yeah, we only have 2.5 minutes now until the imbalances. So we just took some out there. We took some out at 80s and then again at 60s, I believe. 60s, and then there was 90s, sorry, 90s and 60s right there. Unbelievable movement now on Nvidia. I'm going to get, okay, here it comes back up. I'm going to take another opportunity right now to get some out. There we go. We get a 95. Like, I'm just pushing offer, enter, and it's like whatever price comes, we get there. Ooh, I just got an email. $4 off a spicy buffalo bowl from Freshie.
Done.
Spicy buffalo. You know what? That's.
You said Buffalo, so yeah.
Oh, Buffalo Bills, yeah. That's actually.
I do love Buffalo season.
Do you? I was going to say, that's the one, like, Buffalo. I don't prefer the Buffalo seasoning or whatever.
Turtle Jacks.
Right.
So my baseball team back in the day, Turtle Jacks was the bar that we would go to after we played.
Yeah.
And I would literally get their buffalo chicken sandwich.
It's great with the dip, the ranch dipping. The ranch dip.
Same thing every Coors Light and buffalo chicken sandwich after every game, pretty much, that we would go. So
Coors Light, have the Miller Light, get the.
Well, like it's one of those things. Like, it's the summer, you just want.
No, I'm with you. I like lager, like a nice, clean.
That's not normally it's not really even what I would normally drink, but it's just after a game.
Back when Brendan used to have fun, he used to drink Guinness.
I got to find the picture of that one pour. We went to the baseball game. Was it the three of us? Someone else came with us. It was four of us.
Was it?
And I don't remember the bar we went to, but I remember the pour that Brendan had on his Guinness. And I took a picture of how bad the pour was. It was just kind of fun.
Could have been a Guinness pour, was it? Those pours are pretty standard. Anyway.
No, he poured my beer, whatever I was drinking.
Ah, right. I remember that. No, it wasn't the Raptors game that we all went to.
Was it
Raptors? Sharif? We all went. I have the picture on my Instagram.
I don't know if it was the Raptors. Whatever. I'll find it if I can. With less than 30 seconds to go, FXI is already starting to pair off. That might be a nothing burger.
I think we should all go to the Jays game with all those super chats, is what
I'm down with that.
We've talked about that before.
I still got 4. We can go anytime.
Good day collecting premiums. Yeah, what's up, why not? We talked about that on the chat, with Joe earlier, and he was talking even before all of this nonsense was happening today. Writing today might be a good opportunity. But at the same time, like, if you could have got caught, right?
Easily.
Depending on where the prices were that you were writing. Oh, by the way, like, there's 113.60. That's right. Remember when we were like, oh, we're getting out there? Well, now look. So it's a good thing that we're just getting out in 5% tranches. Wow, what just happened? Oh my God, the imbalances, Neil.
$4 million to buy on Nvidia, $2 million to buy on Amazon,
boy,
$2 million to buy on Broadcom, $2 million to buy on Apple, $2 million to buy on Google. Yeah, they're all buys. Let's just keep it at that.
Hallelujah.
All buys.
Look at Nvidia. There it goes, man. 114.80. We'll stamp $1.80 or $1.50 on that trade. And we still have shares, man. We talked about having half left. There it goes, right back up to the upside. Now we'll have about 25%-ish left as Nvidia just rockets there to the upside. So congratulations, anybody that's long today, because you're up 12. The NASDAQ being up 12% is like cuckoo to me a little bit, but whatever, man. We're here to enjoy the ride, and that is for sure. Nvidia, BAC with a sell. Okay, that's interesting. We are now 1 day away from bank earnings, right? You're going to only be able to trade tomorrow, and then bank earnings will come Friday morning.
That can change.
Google, again, like if you told me Google made it all the way back to 158, I'd be like, what? It was even down that low to begin with. But yeah, Google was down to 140 a couple days ago, now up to 158 as that buy hits the market as well. And man, oh man, there it is. What a great day there. Someone just put Santa Claus in the chat. Yeah, man, this is a Santa Claus rally, it feels like right now. Santa Claus rally just normally lasts a couple of days. Will this one last more than that? We could possibly go out at the highs of the day, and that generally signals.
You got to hope it's not a one-day rally. That would be.
I could see tomorrow us coming in and being down 2 or 3%, to be honest with you, just because of this. And I think we make it back to green.
Yeah, standard pullback into something and then hold would be fine. I just don't want to see us giving up the gap. That's all. You give up the gap, I think that's
Where's
a really
that winning
bad sign.
meme that we had on our Instagram? It's like, now is the time when Trump should say, we have lots of winning.
Yeah,
winning
exactly. The one that we hit the key for.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, not the dancing one.
I'm joking because I don't have that key
on
my thing. But we can hit this.
My bad.
Or this is more appropriate. That's a pretty good one. And what is this?
I have the market green. Is that
I have a button that says Flintstones, and I don't know what it does. So I'm just going to
do it.
I don't know what this does. Oh, it didn't do anything.
Oh, that's what it does.
It didn't do anything. Oh, that's lame.
Do it again.
No, it doesn't do anything.
I know.
What did it do?
He said it's all.
Oh, it's just audio?
So well,
I didn't hear it, so I had no idea what that thing did. How about
200?
Do that? I don't know.
There we go. Yeah, bang. Nvidia right now is rocking 115 on Nvidia. This was $88 on Monday. It just gained like, I guess we could do the math, but maybe $800 billion today. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. It's probably way off. But there it goes. Huge move to the upside right now. We got to watch Handmaid's Tale episode 2. We watched episode 1 yesterday. Of course, filmed here all throughout Ontario.
You've seen it already.
Got released yesterday.
Huh?
Handmaid's Tale, season 6.
Oh, sorry, a new season.
Last season right now. My wife was actually in season 3.
Well, that's why I knew you guys watched it, because...
Yeah, well, she loves the books and everything like that as well, so Handmaid's Tale. But anyways, yeah, that was great. The episode 1 was pretty good, so we'll wait for 2 and 3. I don't know why they released 3 at a time. That seems...
Keep people wanting?
I guess so. Well, why not just do 2? I don't know.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I haven't
White
seen
Lotus
it.
is now over. You have not seen it. I wonder what people think about that. I don't want to give spoiler alert because you haven't even seen season 1.
No, I've seen 0 of it. I'm finishing Yellow Jackets, and then I'm gonna...
That was the other one. I have to tell my wife you started that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started watching a little bit of Yellow Jackets with her. She likes it.
Dara, you need to watch Silo. Trust me. I told you about the story you should read. Tesla is up 23%. It wants 275. Nvidia is at a bajillion. AMD wants 100. Not making it up. AMD wants 100. It's up 25%. 25%. Adara, what up?
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool isn't just a new option for trading, it is a new mindset for stock traders. Forget that old rule book where big trades meant big risk, because with Trade the Pool, you can trade real stocks with massive capital and only put down $47 to get started. Your losses capped and your profits unlimited. This is about breaking barriers, not your bank account. So if you're ready to trade big without the usual fear of losing it all, head to tradethepool.com. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara.
Like jumping into the pool today. Like this has been, all right, 115 right now on Nvidia. Ciao. Look at the size. Just come over here quickly, Andre, please. And thank you. Okay, there was just, oh no. Okay, I'm gonna put, oh no. We might have just missed it, which we didn't miss it. It's nobody's fault. It was there quickly. And then, okay, there, okay, it just broke 115. It was just, I just got filled at 115 when this thing was at 114.60. So there's the size, look, there it goes. Our quotes now can't keep up. You have to look at the time in sales right here. It is absolutely insane what just happened there on, look at this move. It just touched 115 and then just goes, no thank you. Wiping down there goes Nvidia. So again, it's 355, so that makes sense. That imbalance must have paired.
Also,
no, it didn't. It's still there.
No, it stayed, but the
wrong.
VIX just caught like some buying program, and the VIX just happened. It's the same. It's the same
what just
top
happened there?
Buying in UVXY. So the VIX must have bounced off of like I guess
I might
it'd
just
be
go long then.
I guess it would be 30. Shoot, I have a VIX.
I kind of want to go long, but where's my stop?
Oh, yeah, VIX bounced off 32. I had UVXY, so that's why you saw a little bit of a spike. But at 55, sometimes you get a pairing event. Other times you don't, and it still moves anyways. Dara.
Headline coming out here too, though. U.S. officials saying there are no changes to Canada and Mexico tariffs, and there will also be no changes to autos, steels, or aluminum tariffs. So earlier today, we had Bessent and Levitt say that we were going to be getting 10% tariffs still on Canada and Mexico. It seems like they are confirming that. Again, if you missed the initial Truth Social post by President Donald Trump, there was a lot of confusion as to what was getting the 90-day pause and what was getting the 10% tariff rate. So looks like they're trying to clarify that now. Back to you.
Well, I think a lot of people are probably looking for
my
clarification and adjusting things. Just cancel some orders in here. I just noticed Intel as well made the. I don't know why I would think it wasn't at the high of the day. Everything else is, but that 6 million that you see on Nvidia is staying. The 6 million on Intel wasn't there before. Broadcom's imbalance is actually bigger. That's now 3 million from 2 or 2.8 from 2. Amazon's the same at 2. UMC is still there as a buy. Lam is a 2 million buy. This is with 3 minutes to go in here that you still have these massive buy imbalances. Like you don't see anything on the sell side unless, oh, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of Toronto names in there. Amazon's only down to 1.2, but for the most part, most of the big imbalances are staying to the buy side. Although they're not acting, it's not acting like it's staying buy though. Like you're getting topping tail candles on some of these names that look like they're going to be big. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be a close trade that I see. Usually you want to flip at 55 on big imbalances.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
It didn't flip at all.
All right, well, we're making a little bit of money back right now. As there it goes, man, 113.70. We said we want, look at this dip buy on Nvidia. We tried it there, and we just bought more there at the bottom for NVDA. So here we go, man, another 50 cents. It's 50 cents like it's candy. Like, you can lose 50 cents. Like, it's the same way. Like, I don't know, man, that... It's just so tempting to sit in there and wait for those bigger moves, but there's been so many scalpable moves as well, both ways. Like, I feel like if you are mentally prepared to short, you've had great opportunities, and if you're only looking for long, there's been great dip buy opportunities like we just had there on Nvidia, and you also had a great topping candle there as well, as we got out at we got out at 115, and then in the very next same minute, we're buying 114s. A minute later, we're buying 113.50s. There it goes right now to the top side. Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, good job, Neil. Sorry. I don't know if he's going to do the recap show with Adara tonight. So we're just a little chaotic around here right now as we get excited with what exactly is happening in this market. So here we go, man. I'm going to start to pair it off. Great day trading there. We just got 114. Like, we just got 114.35s there. Like, I don't know. Maybe we'll just hold this all the way. We only have a third of this position left. Let's see what happens here. Even after hours, this market could really put on some damage upside. I'm going to get a little piece out here, get down into about 30% left now, heading into tomorrow. So
we all usually go back.
Let me check the note that Adara gave today. No earnings. So that note was easy. All right, there it is, man. Nice move upside. There it goes. We've done many of this today, but we're just going to hit it right now because we do have $1 on the way back up here for Nvidia as that goes. I just want to thank everybody for watching today. Thank you for the record numbers. We're having a record day, even now into the close. Over 9,000 of you watching right now. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, keep the good flow going. All right, Miss Adara, it's 30 seconds until your time to shine. There goes Nvidia all the way back up. Can we get to 115? Yes, we can. Again, back there to the upside. Let's go, Nvidia. Oh, we have Constellation Brands tonight. I don't know why I missed that one. Constellation Brands tonight, that's a big one. With only 10 seconds left, oh, baby, this was a monster day. Screen cap if you can, because the NASDAQ is now up 12%. 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you, Adara. Okay, well, no matter how you are about to enjoy your evening, have a quick look at some charts and really, understand that today was just one of those insane days. Andre, there it is. Yeah, check out Worksport, WKSP. Add Worksport to your watch list today. We want to thank them for sponsoring the closing bell. So thank you, Andre, and thank you to Worksport right there. All right, it's been an absolutely wild day. I'm still actually long Nvidia here into the close and trying to hold to see if what happens here in the after hours, but I do have to get some out now, so I'm waiting at 114.75. Maybe we get that, maybe we don't. But there it is. Great day today. A lot of topsy-turvy plays. I have over 700 fills today, so I'm going to need to regroup, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. It's the recap show. It's Adara. Thanks, Bears vs. Bulls. I know it was a busy one today. Andre, Fabian, Brendan, Adara, Joe, and every single one of you. That super chat really, I know it touched, obviously, Joe had said a couple things there as well. So I want to thank everybody for all of that support. And I promise you we'll do something fun to celebrate, the successes of the show. Thank you, everybody, for making it what it is. Neil and Adara right now on the recap show. See everyone tomorrow.
Wow, wow, wow. Welcome, everybody, to your ProfitX recap show. And it's a sea of green. Sometimes when someone says pause, it's like the best thing and not the other thing. And congratulations if anyone bought the dip. As we're going to go over, Adara, this was a historical day.
It was.
Any way you want to cut it, any way you want to measure it, 11%, sorry, check that, my bad. 12% on the NASDAQ today. Everything is green unless you're looking at volatility.
So I made this infographic earlier today. You can actually, and I'm going to update this tomorrow to reflect this, you can insert now today in the second spot. This is the second best day in NASDAQ history. But I want to provide a massive, massive caveat. I was telling Neil, I was doing some research. Generally what happens here is every year where we have the best day ever in the NASDAQ or the top 10 days, it's in a year where we are really bearish. So for example, there's only 4 years represented here again today, notwithstanding. 2000. 2001, 2008, 2020. And what's interesting too, a lot of these rallies would actually follow days that were on the table for the worst days ever. So I found that really interesting. We'll have like this epic rally day right after having one of the biggest sell-offs in history. So I think that's really worth noting. There's this thing as well, this phenomena called a bear market rally, and I'm seeing some people on X as well worrying that could be what we have. Based on my research, I do not think it's impossible. I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade, but I think also the timing of events is really interesting, because if you missed it, this morning around the open, Donald Trump first posts for us to be cool in all caps, and then says, this is a great time to buy. So then, a couple hours later, we get him posting again on Truth Social, 125% tariffs in China. As an afterthought, he's like, oh, by the way, also 90-day pause on tariffs, and also 10% tariffs. Like, he doesn't really make it clear what countries get what. Regardless, though, the market rallies on that, and he was questioned about this timing during a little event he had with some race car drivers, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I wanted to tell people to be cool. They need to calm down." And I was like, I don't know. It's interesting. I think the timing is interesting, and I think this is an event that deserves a lot of attention and probably some infographics on TTV research. Yeah,
and just the thing to keep in mind when you talk about the math of these pullbacks and then the rips that we had in here. Remember, the same principle that applies to the squeeze stocks, or a stock gets trending down, and like why GameStop, probably not a great example, but a stock gets more trending down, or like an AMC. For it to go 10 or 20% because it's been bleeding so much, it's simple math. If something goes from 100 to say 50, a 10% move back is only going to be $5, whereas before that would only be 5% from when it was at the high. It's a similar principle with the market. So that's mathematically why you are always going to have bigger percentage gains on bounces, generally speaking, in something which has been downtrending. But if you look at where we came from on the Qs, we're just right back to the shelf that we had in March. Like that March shelf where we bounced clean, 467, and back into that 200 period and then failed again, well, we're right back up to it. We basically just filled the gap into prior support, and it's obviously a fantastic day and not a heck of a lot has changed. I think you want to look for things that might be a little bit distinctly different for sure. Now, one thing to keep in mind, hey, we still have bank earnings coming at the end of the week, right? You're going to get JP Morgan, which is going to matter a heck of a lot. You want to see the health there. You want to see what they're saying about the economy, what they think about this relief in tariffs, because like everything else, the charts are all going to look the same. We filled the gap back into prior support. So you're at a big decision point. You'll have profit takers at levels like this. You'll have people that are itching trigger finger to look for a continuation off of levels like this. So it's the kind of place where you can start running away, but you want to collect that data, see how we bounce tomorrow, see how the banks report on Friday, at least specifically in that sector for sure. But it's so unreal. Some of the movement that you saw in today, with whether it was a VIX going to the downside, a few names that stood out that I think, I treat certain things differently from others, and upward trending stocks that looked really healthy, I put in a different bucket. I looked back over at AMD, which has been riding trend to the downside. Like, I think when you see a stock like this, that gets to the 50 period, which it's been holding underneath. That's the kind of thing I would be more inclined to think fades, because you've got a very clear, distinct trend line. We bounced off the bottom of the trend. Well, usually when you have a trend line down, you bounce off the top, but bottom, retest the top, and look for a fade. AMD is not Nvidia. And Nvidia, it's got a little bit of a trend line as well, but if you zoom it out, it's a much healthier stock. Still, in some ways, like we basically bounced off of last year's August low, and we're filling in the gap. So I like to put things into buckets. And another thing that we noticed, Adara, was a bit of a correlation trade that was going on. It averted a little bit at the end of the day there on McDonald's, but they really sold McDonald's off as the market was bouncing and everything was continuing to the upside. Nice recovery in there, because I think at some point that mini rotation ends. I'd like to think that it's a good stable name. As I looked at this bouncing off the 200 period moving average, I don't own shares of McDonald's. I got interested in thinking to myself, if it actually retests this on any kind of a multi-day move and more rotation happens, that just seems like a pretty safe bet and a solid place to be. It's been holding the 200 period, one of the few things, for a long time now, and I think that would be a great place to, if we go back to the downside, to look for a safer place to hide out. But everything was mostly strong. If you're down 1% or flat today and you're not like volatility, it's telling you something.
Yeah, it's something that I'll certainly be looking at tomorrow, because the fact that traders were not loving that, well, they were loving everything else, I think is pretty interesting. I also want to start at T-Money in the chat asking me what happens really the day after these historic rallies. What do the stocks do? Because I said some of these do tend to come after we have massive sell-offs. So it's interesting. I have not found much of a correlation yet. I've gone through a handful of the days in 2000. What is interesting, though, I've noticed when we have these massive rallies in a Friday, the preceding Monday tends to be pretty flat. It's not too exciting. Other than that, though, there's really, I'm going to be honest with you, zero correlation or pattern that I can find. We'll have days where we sell off aggressively, sometimes almost to the extent that we rallied, and then we'll also have days where we'll rally about half of that, right? So as of right now, T-Money, I am not finding any particular trend, but it's something I wanted to look at anyway, so I do appreciate you asking it to me in the chat. Yeah, I think right now we're still listening to Donald Trump right now talking about shower heads once again and deregulating water pressure. So nothing supermarket moving here. But thank you guys so much for being here with us every single day. I really enjoy, getting to learn in this market. Not a great trading day, but you know what? There was a quote from Kunal Desai that I saw. He was actually on our podcast a while ago too, the Trader TV podcast. Shout out to him, and I really liked it. Red days don't ruin traders. Lack of reflection does. So I wanted to share that because I saw that, and it's like, I think, really key. And just, go tonight, regardless of whether you're green, red, or like a nice shade of pink or mint. Go back, reflect, and get ready for the next day, I would say, is my take on this. Also, I have to laugh at Matthew Elliott's comment in the chat. I like to call this tariff theater. Acting, my dear.
Why not?
Yeah, I like that. And I honestly, it feels a little bit like a soap opera at times. So yeah, there we go.
And Scott Tomlinson in the chat saying CPI tomorrow. Please remind everybody we just did. Shout out to you, Scott. Appreciate you. Very important for us to go to the next level. Just an opinion. So I don't know. I've been thinking that the labor market matters a little bit more than inflation right now for the Fed, but I think that cuts either way. You're gonna care about both of those. There is, just so you know, there is Constellation Brands reporting, but they don't report until 5:20 for some reason. So we won't have Constellation Brands on market recap, and we will, of course, go over their earnings tomorrow morning, assuming there's actually a move or something that happens in it. It hasn't been that bad of a stock at the end of the day. I've seen a lot of people in here I'm taking this swing, I'm taking that swing, what should I do? On the biggest events, or earnings, we had that August, some of the biggest events that you might see, news-based, the start of the tariffs, a lot of times I want to see what happens the next day or two before taking a leg. Well, take Tesla for an example. like, yeah, it's bouncing off a good support level. You're running into resistance. It's one thing if we start breaking away from 300 and you get yourself a defined out back under the 200 period or something like that. But into that resistance spot where we know the last couple of bounces, you've had resistance at that 280 level. That's where it gets a little bit tricky. That's why I was throwing in things into different buckets. And look, I was looking at what are the things that I would sell if we get another extended move. I think I'd sell some SoFi at 13. Like, I'm not selling any of my Mag 7 names. I'm not selling the indexes. I'm not selling like Nvidia or ARM that I just bought. But, you know, some of the names that I think could be in a little bit of pressure. Obviously, these guys are going to end up reporting soon just because, I mean, the financials are going to start to report. They report at the 28th. We're going right back into earnings season. And I think it's going to be a very, very important, it's always important earnings, but I think you're going to want to see some good numbers in here because I still do believe there's going to be some skittish people out there for sure. There's definitely a lot moving around. I do want to cover a couple of things that we didn't get to today. I meant to. We got a lot of questions, or at least a lot of comments about some of the quantum names in here today. Rigetti's up 20%. I'm sure D-Wave is up 15 to 20%. I'm sure IonQ probably about the same thing. Worth noting, when you look at, for a lot of these bounces, when you zoom out and look at a daily chart, yeah, 20%, huge. What did we really do on, all you did here on Rigetti is bounce off a little support and go right into like that $10, not even get to the $10 resistance. It's impressive because it all happened in one day, but when you take a step back, for especially some of the names that got beaten up the most, it doesn't look quite as good of a bounce. You're never going to complain about getting that 20%, but you want to see continuation. Otherwise, you might have just had a dead cat. You want to see the trend break. That's what I'm interested in seeing. I want to see the trend break, and I want to see it hold above like something like that. Like I want to see, I want to see it break this trend, and I want to see buying start to emerge on something before I'm believing that a name that is given up this much is going to be good for now. The other thing to keep in mind, everybody, is the Chinese names. I feel like they're a little bit less out of the water here, Derek. Yeah, they bounced 7% and all, but they didn't quite have, there wasn't the irrational exuberance buying that you saw at the end of the day in the US markets on FXI. You weren't seeing it. So yeah, you get a relief rally, obviously, but at the end of the day, I feel like this was pretty muted and you might still be in a pullback. Like I recently had sold BABA shares and considering when to get back. It's one thing to note. Yeah, you're bouncing. When are you ever going to find a situation where a 7% bounce doesn't impress you? I'm interested to see what happens overnight in Asia.
Yeah, again, I think like for me, it's always going to be what happens tomorrow. I'm still doing the collection of data here for myself in terms of what happens the day after these rallies. I've gone through 17 of the top 20 times, and I found more often than not the next day is pretty flat, or sometimes it'll be like a little bit of sometimes a bit of a sell-off, but no significant sell-offs. But also it's worth noting, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of these historic best days in the NASDAQ come after the historic sell-offs. So that's worth noting too. A lot of these buys that we're getting are most likely relief rallies. So I think that's something to consider again. Don't mind me just continuing to, go off on historical tangents. But yeah, I think for China, I think that'll be pretty interesting as well because they were already kind of doing their own thing today, right? This morning, they did their own thing, 21. They had this push to the upside when the rest of the market couldn't really sustain it after China announced 84% tariffs. And I was sitting here, like you, because I got here first. Neil came in a little bit after me. I'm sitting at my desk, la-di-da-di-da, doing my thing. Stocks are up. It's a good time. Neil goes like, you're getting water or something. And then while Neil is gone, during that brief period, I see 84% tariffs from China. And then I go check the blotter, and I'm like, oh. So I really want to clarify that you really, if you were here, you saw that distinct change. China did not have that. And so China was initially looking stronger, though, of course, over the course of me writing the watch list, it kind of trickled to the downside. So China and US, we know we're not necessarily moving in tandem. Even the top NASDAQ name in Q1 2025 was PDD. So that really, I think, I would say exemplifies what we're trying to talk about. Again, stuff I want to do more research into, like the performance of FXI versus the Qs maybe in situations like that, or KWEB, I guess. But either way, interesting stuff. And yeah, I mean, if anyone has also the chat, if any ideas for infographics for me to work on right now, just specifically about all these historic market moves. I love doing research. Just tag me in the chat. I will try my best to get to you. I have like a whole little dossier and a file where I put everything. So.
Ooh, a dossier. That's fancy. Using school words on us here at Derek.
I like school words.
Now. I'm not the school word person here, but that move, what a difference a few hours makes. Because that's absolutely right. I did get up. I was getting a water. I was doing a couple of things. And I remember sitting back down to, wasn't Apple just at 100? Weren't we just at 177? Because Apple had dropped down on one 3-minute candle from 177 to 170. And that's what I sat back down to. I'm like, and I remember thinking to myself, really? We're doing, and Sharif was here as well. And I'm like, we're doing this again? And that's what it felt like. But really, it was just a couple of really parabolic moves to the upside. So this is the thing. You hear there's a term that traders will use. You're Sean say it a lot, or like we'll go, oh, what just happened there? Quote levitation, or the bid just dropped, or there's a buy program on, like whatever of that vernacular. Twice you saw that specifically on Apple, and obviously once was obvious. It was when we had the pause, but when it did it the second time. It's always tricky. I'll tell you right now, when that's happening, you generally speaking, in my experience, I never want to be buying the extended part. When it's doing that extended, can I zoom in? There you go. Where you're getting that buy program and it's just accelerating. Each candle is bigger than the last. The one that you don't usually want to buy on is that massive one where it's breaking out the high on the biggest one of those candles. But if you see this pattern, and again, I wasn't looking at Apple at this time. At this moment, Apple was weak relative to the rest of the market. Market was still trending higher, and Apple had been pulling back for like a half an hour. But it gave you a bottoming tail candle and then just a little bit of acceleration. And when it broke the next local high, I think that's where, if you were paying attention to Apple, regain the moving average, break the local high, you can try to get in on that trend trade. We're used to seeing that in the afternoon on Tesla. Like Tesla's been the stock that's generally had these, sort of power hour rallies the last few months. Today it was Apple. I think the easiest and lowest hanging fruit when looking for patterns like this to continue is to, if it did it yesterday and starts doing it again tomorrow, I'll have Apple up instead of the usual for sure. But like we said, it was a unique day in a lot of ways for everybody. That's why we had so much fun regardless. And it's one of those days you look at your personal account and you're happy with it. And you try not to on pretty much every other day this month. But you got to put things back into perspective. We had one massive rally. We still have to digest tomorrow. There's almost no chance we have this kind of volatility again today. You just don't usually see it. I'll still be looking at the VIX. And one thing to note here, when the VIX caught the UVXY, but when they caught the bottom, there was actually, it was moving up and kind of foretold a little bit of a pullback in a couple of names when we caught this little consolidative bid. So yeah, VIX went from almost $60 at one point today, early in the day, to $30. Cut almost in half. I mean, technically speaking, most of the down move was like 38% on a closing basis, but it was over 40 if you go from some of the pre-market levels. Volatility is here to stay, and it's a great indicator when you're trading.
Well, it was interesting, too. That was another thing. Canal Desai, who's like, we have a couple, I would say generally the news feed, which is a combination of stuff that Brendan has had follow in this account, and then I have also followed, there's a couple traders on here, including Canal Desai, but also, a lot of news accounts. And I remember he was saying short UVXY before we even got that move. Yes. So yeah, shout out to him. Sounds like he did really well in that. Have a good night, Sean. Also, I want to pull this up. This is from another really well-known stock market account. This Wall Street Engine here on X. Only 9 stocks in the S&P 500 closed red today. What's interesting is some of these were actually some of the top performers in Q1. So chiefly, I remember Exelon was on that list, Cencora was on that list, Consolidated Edison was on that list, or Con Ed. So interesting look here. Some of the names that really led us earlier are lagging now, and McDonald's is another really good example of that, not on this list. But McDonald's was one that was a little bit weaker today. They were really strong, leading for quite a while as well. Even when we had specific sell-offs, McDonald's would be like, I don't care. So interesting note there.
It's always important to look at. And, look, this kind of a market, it's just for a lot of people, maybe it's the first time you're seeing something like this. If you didn't trade during COVID, if you didn't trade during 08, or you didn't trade during the dot-com bubble burst, then this type of action is going to be new to you. So I saw in the chat, like some people saying, oh, I didn't have a good day today, or today was just a little bit too tricky, or I couldn't get a good read on it. That is fine. There's a first time for everything. I mean, like no matter how long you have been doing something, there are always going to be situations where like this is just different, and I'm now on this part of learning. And so one of the things that a good trader, a mentor back in the day used to tell me, and I hope I get this right, it's not a quote I use very often, but he used to say, you want to make sure that it's not beneath you to do anything, and it's certainly not above you to ascend to certain heights. And what he meant by that in the trading aspect was, no matter what point you're at your trading journey, if you encounter something which is not your style, not something you've ever made money on, new to you the first time, it could be you're trying a new market, whatever it might be, you have to have the humility to maybe paper trade it and just watch, or use less shares, or whatever it might be. But it also plays in the other direction. When you are in that position, you have to have that ability to just say, okay, this does set up, and I have that experience, and I can go from 0 to 100, and I'm just executing points. And so that's one thing that I've always known. So having literally this conversation with a couple of traders in the kitchen today, of the algo guys in Obi, that's exactly what we were discussing, that whole 0 to 100. If you just play setups that work for you and strategies that work for you, it's a heck of a lot easier to just say, okay, wow, this is different, more liquidity, let's just go up. It's just executing the same trade. But if I've never seen it before and I have no edge, be okay with backing off. And I've known traders who they just don't have that ability, and it would crush them because they would do something they've never done before, trade a market they've never traded before, and because they'd make money doing X, they just think it applies to Y, and then they would lose for no reason. It's like, but you make money doing this. What are you doing that over there for? So there's nothing wrong with that, and you should be cool with that. And first of all, I think it's brave to even just say that. That's why we have a great community. There were so many people in the midday chat today giving encouragement to Joe or relating experiences. That's what it's all about. It's a trading community that we have here. And on that note, if you want to join our community, participate in that chat, maybe ask some questions in there. If you have any for us, go ahead and fire away. It is a subscribers only chat. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, jump in there. If you have a question for Adara, myself, anybody on the program, just let us know for sure. Someone just said, what's the VIX at right now? So I don't even know if I have VIX on this, but if UVXY is at 32, then the VIX is like 31 maybe. I think that it's something like that. But it did pull back 40% on the VIX, which is crazy because we were above 50. 50 on the VIX is when people start panicking a little bit here. Dr. Dan just said gold next. Gold next to do what? Go higher? We'd already went higher. We already had a good move on gold today. I always wonder what the context is on a comment like that. So you said gold next, and I am not sure what you mean. I do know that, gold, great bounce opportunity. And we talk about riding the trend. Well, this has been trending up. So when you're buying the dip on something at prior resistance or at the 50 period or whatever it might be, that just feels better when you're still buying on an uptrend that was unbroken. So you get it both ways. You get an uptrend, you get a defensive name if we go back down. There's nothing wrong with that for sure. It's just do you. I've never been a metals guy. I think I bought like some physical silver during COVID. I don't even remember why I did it. I just did it. But I've never been one to hedge in gold or anything like that. But to be candid, in my personal account, I built my personal account when I was younger on a more conservative basis. Like most people don't have a lot of dividend stuff and buying of the indexes too much early on. But because I did that, I kind of feel like it's never that bad. I have like a really stable, relatively speaking, position in some really good dividend names. So I don't mess around with hedging in gold. It's just never been my cup of tea. I am happy with what happened in Bitcoin, though, here today. And that's one thing. I knew I wanted to go over something, but Bitcoin regained. I'm showing you IBIT because that's what we have the chart up for. So you held and regained the 200 period moving average. But what was even more important is that level that level we had at 81, which had been prior support, and it held it for a long time. I think we're just right back into it. Maybe a weekly chart will do this a bit better. here. Yeah, if you show a weekly chart, what you did here is on that pullback in the weekly, the prior high has held from our big long breakout in Bitcoin, and we've dipped without really retesting it yet. And so if you end up closing this on the weekly, well, knock on wood, you end up closing this on the weekly, it's a pretty decent sign that we're just holding the top end of this range, which is effectively the mid 70s into like 91, 92, in which case I would think you have a decent chance of retracing back to that 91, 92. If I was a scalp trader, I'd probably sell in front of it, but yeah, good day for BTC. I mean, it's so easy to say, Adara, pull up any chart and they had a good day, but some I like a little bit more than others.
Yeah, it's something I definitely I want to do. Take a look at, because like I said, today, intraday, I did not love what I did, but that's why reflection is so important. You go back. I have a little document for myself, and I call it why did you win, why did you lose, and then what can you change and what can you keep? Because I initially just called it why did you lose because I found it funny, but I'm like, no, you have to focus on growth as well, right? So anyways, however you do reflection, however you aggressively journal, I recommend that. But speaking of good days, someone in the chat, I think they tagged you, Neil, but I don't mind doing this analysis. I pulled up this chart and I like it. Someone in this chat, I'm going to figure AL in the chat, same initials as me, so shout out, says, what's your analysis on aircanada.to? So this is not a stock we trade. We do trade, of course, the New York stocks, the American stocks, but I pulled up this chart and look at this. I drew a downtrend. This is not a perfect trend line, mind you, but from the highs, recent highs here on Air Canada, also this is a bit of a double top if you go back to around this $26 level, we're at a downtrend, but today we tried to break out of that a little bit. We had this volume here, a little bit of outsized volume for Air Canada today, AC, and it does turn up the AC a little bit for this one, pushing out of this downtrend line. There's another thing though. So AVWAPs here, shout out to Brian Shannon. Usually you'll attach these to significant events or significant volume events. I put an AVWAP here just on site off of this really extreme volume candle on November 1st, 2024. That would be earnings for Air Canada. We're still well below that AVWAP. So I would say today is a nice start. It's a good day, but I would like probably to see continued push out of that bottom trend line. And then also I would be very aware of this AVWAP. I have found intraday and long-term, these can really, really be good indicators of sentiment. And sometimes it'll take stocks, even if it's right there, a couple days to break out of those support resistance levels. So that's just something that I would mention there because they can be pretty key.
Leave that chart up for a second.
I would like to do
I've said this a few times. I don't like the airlines. I don't like them for investments in general. I think they're good trading vehicles. I know lots of people. I didn't myself. There was plenty you could have bought in the bottom of COVID, for sure. Obviously, I like some squeeze names, and I liked Pfizer for obvious reasons. But I know some people that bought Air Canada did really well with it. It's a very enticing looking trend break. What I would say is I'm not a huge fan of travel. I think if we are headed toward any kind of a recession, and remember, Canada's economy, I'm a proud Canadian, Canada's economy is not as strong as the United States. It's not as strong as many of the other nations in the G7. It's just the truth. I can say that soberly, and I can admit it as proud as I am of my country. It's just not, you can look up the numbers yourself. So with all that being said, if you get this trend break and you want to see it closing and holding and then breaking out that next level higher, which it just got to today, but like Adara said, you take your profit in front of the AVWAP. I'd usually look at a 250 and a 200 and be looking for those to take profit if you get that trend break as well. Because to me, that's not a long-term investment. I find it very different, dip buying the SPY or dip buying Nvidia, things that I'm comfortable holding for 5 to 10 years than an airline, which usually requires help from the government from time to time. And those are not businesses that I'm a huge fan of. So hopefully that answers your question there. But yeah, that is a great looking trend line. For trades, I'm all for it. You see me love trend lines. When I started as a trader in 2003, before I used any indicator, it was volume and trend lines. That's what I did. And I still use them today. So it's hard for me to look at that and tell you it's not worth a shot if it actually holds breaking that trend, because I think you get a very defined risk. I just don't like the airlines for long-term investments. That's just me personally. It's already 4:30. It's been an unbelievable record day in a lot of ways. Super fun day. Thank everyone for all of those super chats in the middle of the day. I can tell you Joe was absolutely touched by it. He's a very genuine guy, and you could see it really meant a lot to him. He's just sharing. We just share all the time. He was just sharing, and to get that reach out of love was much appreciated. But what I'd like everyone to do is do it all over again, but this time just by simply joining the chat hit that subscribe button so you can jump in the chat and just thank everybody that we had a big, massive green day today. I don't care. We're happy the market's up. We're happy to be a part of it with you. Shout out to Fabian. Shout out to Ramin. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to the Midday boys, Joe and Sharif. Shout out to Sean, Brendo, Adara. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls, the best moderator in all of YouTube. And shout out to all of our fantastic viewers for supporting the show and for supporting Joe there today. It was amazing, but it's roll call time, so get your name in the chat, everybody.
Thank you so much to everyone for being here every single day. Neil, Sean, Sharif, Brendan. We have Joe, we have Fabian, Ramin, Andre, and Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you for everything you do. It's been a very crazy climate, and thank you so much for what you do every single day to keep this community as fabulous as it is. Monty G, Jr., Don Hyben, Andrew Chow, Amy in LA, Auntie, we got Steph Furness, Brown Lightning, Adam DeLuce, Muscan, Corey, Marcus Bergman, Danny, Wes K, Mike Dundee, Jojo, Joseph Brown, Amy in LA, again, David, AI, Ecclesia, D. Westmeyer, Sebastian Ontiveros, By and Sal, Jason Raybon, Volky, oh wow, it's coming fast, Grov, Lazarus, PsyOps, Mike Whiteley, and we have Swizzler, Sniper, Daily Dose of Clarity, Marco Hernandez, Heinrich, Conrad Clark, Mean Gene, Pro Trader Key, Lee Yee, American Tourist Abroad, Life Too Short to Miss, Marie, Adina, Aaron, and Brandon Townsend, and I'll end here too. I saw earlier in this chat, Bull Shark put in a quote from the fabulous It Was a Good Day by Ice Cube, and indeed, today was a good day. So time to go home, listen to that song, watch some 21 Jump Street remake, and enjoy your night.
Absolutely should. And Mean Gene in the chat said, give a shout out to the chat because they give great information too. I love the fact that everyone on our chat answers questions for each other, gives advice, keeps it real. Just keep the love and keep it clean out there in the chat because we're a trading community and it's just about building. We can all win and everyone wants everyone to print all the time, like Sharif always says. The best part about this market, man, we get to do it tomorrow again. Do we get 22% up on Tesla? I don't know, probably not. But an unbelievable record day that you just saw in the markets. And we're going to be right back at 8:30 for the reaction, the coverage, the trades, the movement. Because we're Trader TV Live, and this has been your Profit X recap show. We'll see you tomorrow.